She had a strange dream. A dream about the wedding night with Desert Dragon Zaka, Ice Dragon Zaka, hot and hot, sweet and sweet. In the first half of the dream, it is exactly the same as the wedding night. To be exact, it was Desert Dragon Zaka taking Ice Dragon Zaka to his king's room at night, and then something happened. That's what happened the night she married 4 princesses. However, in the latter half of the dream, she found that Zaka's face became very familiar. It was not Desert Dragon Zaka, Ice Dragon Zaka, nor Red Dragon Zaka, but a face he would never forget. His childhood sweetheart, Hua Hua. Moreover, it is the Hua Hua that is showing terror and murderous look, with a huge magic weapon on his neck. Little she, you big fool. When the sword fell, she opened his eyes in cold sweat. Dream, was it just a dream? She wipes the sweat off his forehead. Hua Hua doesn't exist in this world. Even if there is one, her identity should be an unknown young girl, just like the side quest of Brave Girl Fights Dragon before. Now, she can't face his first love. What happened in this trial is really bad. Gawu, you bastard. Falling beside she, Red Dragon Zaka looks at she with a lifeless expression. The marks on her body are not caused by dew. Zakas. How can there be so many ways to play with people in the world? This pervert is proficient in them. With only one hand, he can let her know that there are countless weaknesses in her body. Sobbing, I can't get married. I have been impure. Why are you sweating so much? She looks at Red Dragon Zaka and smells a very good smell from her. It's a kind of smell that people can't help but want to ravage, like the smell of Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka. Well, I can't think about it anymore. It's all your fault. It's all the world's fault. Red Dragon Zaka felt tears of humiliation. I'm really fed up with it. Why did I encounter such a pervert? Why wasn't the handsome prince in the story told by her sister Desert Dragon Zaka who came to save her? If the world is wrong, change the world. She shares Red Dragon Zaka's heartfelt complaint. The world of Dragon Trial is really too bad, and it may get worse and worse if I stay on. It's better to finish this trial and beat down the strongest dragon in the legend. Otherwise, he will no longer be a gentleman. The position of king is not suitable for him at all. Just seeing the 4 monster princesses in his own palace, she felt like he's walking on thin ice. Really, if he continues to be this king, his life will be very short. Right, the world is wrong, not me. I will fight to the end. Red Dragon Zaka called out and bit She's arm. I'm not telling you to. She looks at Red Dragon Zaka hanging on his arm and felt both funny and annoyed. He doesn't know if it's an illusion. It seems that Red Dragon Zaka's ferocity has increased a lot, but she feels that her intimacy with him has increased. It wasn't just her, he felt better about her. Is it because the Zaka sisters are very similar? She looks at Red Dragon Zaka's eyes, face, and the outline of her chest, and feels familiar. Her small ears, as well as the arc on her chest, can be easily depicted even with his eyes closed. If he had the materials in hand, he should be able to make puppets of the 3 sisters of Zaka, showing their own characteristics. Desert Dragon Zaka is a girl who comes and goes like wind with the wild breath of the desert. Ice Dragon Zaka is the crystallization of the ice and snow world for thousands of years, calm and confident. Red Dragon Zaka is a girl full of passion and strength, like a flame, proud and never knowing how to surrender. They all have their own characteristics, but in some parts, they are surprisingly similar, just like triplets, with wonderful charm. In detail, even some of the body's contours have incredible similarities, almost no difference. Maybe I really have the artistic talent to be a puppet maker. Shi, who has finished modeling Red Dragon Zaka in his mind, began to seriously consider whether he would like to have a part-time job. No, don't look at me with that dirty look. Red Dragon Zaka, who found Shi staring at some parts of her body that he shouldn't have, showed an extremely angry look. Last night, it was this guy who, with his shameless hands, did something like this and that to her and let her step into the unknown world for the first time. Now, would he do more evil to her with that dirty look in his eyes? No, absolutely not. How can the proud Red Dragon Princess yield to this abnormal claw? If he dares to do that again, she will spit at him. Dear, don't monkey around. Let's travel together. Yunshi always felt that now he seemed to be more familiar with the proud princess in front of him. Her anger's not so serious as it seems. Like Ice Dragon Zaka, who was cold and dismissive to him at first. After the wedding night, it seems that her attitude is still as bad as in the past, but the eyes have become a little soft. Red Dragon Zaka seems to have inherited some of the characteristics of the Zaka sisters. At first, they were very, very difficult to get along with. But if you can get familiar with them, you will find that they are actually straightforward girls who can't even lie. This is as like as 2 peas of his childhood sweetheart, Hua Hua. When he first met Hua Hua, she was so indifferent and inhumane. She was more difficult to get along with than Ice Dragon Zaka, as if she had isolated herself from the world. In retrospect, at that time, he thought he had met the beauty of ice. That's when Hua Hua first came to the town, when Yunshi had not met Yi Li, Millie, Phyllis, and often played with other boys and girls in the town. The first time he saw Hua Hua, he felt like something was cutting her off from the world. Where does this lady come from? The first time they saw Hua Hua, they were shocked. They had never seen such a cold and beautiful girl. All over her body, there was a sense of not being allowed to approach. No one dared to talk to Hua Hua. The young girls born in the small town instinctively knew that she was a noble lady. Even if they scraped the edge of her skirt, they will be ruined. Yunshi is the only one who has the fearless heart of an ignorant person. He dares to talk to Hua Hua, who is not an ordinary person at a glance. As for the reason, Yunshi doesn't understand. He just feels that he can't leave Hua Hua alone in the street. In the end, Yunshi successfully entered Hua Hua's world and became her childhood sweetheart. It's just that Yunshi doesn't know why the original Hua Hua was so indifferent, and he never asked about such things. Naturally, a lady should have a lady's secret. Hua Hua has become his childhood sweetheart. That's enough. Hua Hua's past has nothing to do with him. What he likes is the one who is willing to smile for him and runs around the town every morning. Compared with the mysterious girl who can only appear in his dream, Hua Hua is a lovely girl who can be seen and touched and is close to him. With the opportunity of meeting Hua Hua, other childhood sweethearts appeared one after another. Without exception, they all had beautiful faces and special temperaments that were totally different from those girls in the small town, which made other children duel many times for them. Well, Yunshi didn't know about these things, because the kids finally found out in despair that Hua Hua, Millie, Yi Li, Phyllis were all around one person. That damn guy. Never eat his bread. Why are there such lucky guys in the world? Therefore, Yunshi inexplicably found that his former friends did not take him to play, which also made him sad for a long time. Later, he had to play with his childhood sweethearts. In Yunshi's eyes, Hua Hua is like a puzzle that can never be solved. Every time you feel you know her secret, more secrets come out. Why does Hua Hua, who has such a strong strength, always hide her real strength, and even now she has not stepped into the hero rank? Where does her flying sky sword come from? Why did she live in the remote town? The more he knows about Hua Hua's extraordinary features, the more Yunshi feels that it's his best luck to be her childhood sweetheart. It's really a miracle among miracles, and it's the luck of hundreds of millions of fortuitous superposition. Even though Hua Hua ordered him to put on the maid's clothes and went to school in the White Lotus Sword Palace, Yunshi did not refuse. She's a little tough, a little bit crazy, willful but gentle, cheerful and lively. She's like the sunshine in summer. She's always shining. This is Yunshi's childhood sweetheart, the invincible Hua Hua. Well, in this part of willfulness, Red Dragon Zaka has the essence of Hua Hua. Yunshi recorded how many fatal mistakes she had made since the two began to leave the volcano and head for the southern tribal region. Bite his arm, 35 times. Bite his ear, 47 times. Curse him to die, too many times, more than 3 figures. Accidentally ran out of the distance and put herself on the brink of death, 13 times. It is reasonable to learn something after looking for death 13 times in a row. At least she should know what to do and what not to do. In other words, if you don't look for death, death won't come directly to you. It's a pity that Red Dragon Zaka's head doesn't look so smart. It's more like a fool's indomitable spirit. As soon as she didn't pay attention to it, she didn't look at the road and ran into a big tree nearby. In an instant, her heart stopped and her eyes were straight. The Red Dragon Princess, who had the power to destroy heaven and earth, fell like a puppet about a Zaka away from Yunshi. Yunshi felt that if he didn't take good care of her, she would die countless times. It's the 14th time today that he sticks his hand on her chest and feels warm from his fingertips. CPR, go. Bang. With the press of Yunshi's right hand, Red Dragon Zaka's chest was first pressed down, showing an obvious fluctuation, and then it bounced violently, just like a lively rabbit. Poo-ha! Red Dragon Zaka gasps like a fish thrown back into the water, and looks at Yunshi with an extremely bad look. Bite. Small teeth bite Yunshi's hand. It's this hand. It's this hand that always touched her chest. I bite. How many times does this damned hand insult her? Her chest has been rubbed by this hand many times, almost familiar with the contour and strength of this hand. It's useless. Yunshi skillfully pulls up the body of Red Dragon Zaka. Her human posture is not heavy at all. She can be lifted up gently, just like a large-sized doll. It's just that this doll is different from White Moon. It's very violent and always biting. If you create such a product as a puppeteer, it must be a big failure. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo. In the face of Yunshi's arm, which can't even leave a scar no matter how many times she bit, Red Dragon Zaka showed her unwilling eyes. If you make any more noise, I'll let Pafu go. Looking at Red Dragon Zaka, which seems to be attacking again, Yunshi has to threaten her. You pervert, devil. Red Dragon Zaka was so scared that she let go. Only that one I never want to try. Is this human being the natural enemy of me? Pafu. After hearing the master's command, Pafu ran out of Yunshi's clothes and was eager to try. No. The Red Dragon Princess turns pale and instinctively escapes. Well, she only runs about a meter away and the heart stops and falls down. What a stupid girl. Yunshi looks at Red Dragon Zaka, who was just rescued by himself, and makes the same mistake again. Compared with her sisters, Red Dragon Zaka seems to have another low level in IQ. Is it because that she added all intelligence points to strength? Pafu. The green Pafu danced on Yunshi's shoulders, and then turned into the posture of Red Dragon Zaka. Except for not wearing clothes, the body curve was exactly the same, taking off the tiny version of Zaka. Maybe I have to teach her what adaptation is. Yunshi has some ideas about how to survive in a bad environment. The death of 3 figures in the trial taught Yunshi one thing. Never expect the environment to adapt to you. Before you have enough strength, it will only be you who adapt to the environment. In the face of great adversity, no matter how many setbacks you encounter, don't give up hope. Even sometimes, a temporary retreat is okay. It's shameful but very useful. Red Dragon Zaka, obviously, is the kind of child who has never experienced many setbacks, which is very similar to his invincible childhood sweetheart. It's just that Hua Hua has the power to break away from any environment. She's an exceptional existence that is not bound by any rules. Although Red Dragon Zaka is very strong, she is far from reaching the level of Hua Hua. Bang! Red Dragon Zaka's chest is full of green light again. It's all your fault. Why did you give me such a curse? Red Dragon Zaka opened her eyes, looked at the claw that was resting on her chest. She felt that she could not escape from that claw for the rest of her life. Because it's not a curse, it's salvation. It's better to live than to die, isn't it? Yunshi let go with his right hand and said with a smile, "If I live in such humiliation, I might as well die in the war. For the proud Red Dragon Princess, rather than live like this, it was better to die in the war with the twin witches at that time. At least, she can still maintain the status of the great Red Dragon Princess and die proud, instead of being tied by this invisible thread to a human being. Just imagine such a future, she will feel dim of her life. Don't say death so easily. There are many wonderful things in the world that you have never experienced. If you die so simply, your sisters will be sad." Yunshi patted Red Dragon Zaka on the head. Even if there were 4 ex-girlfriends chasing after him, even if he was abused to doubt life in the trial, he never thought of death. Strive to live on, live his own life. Yunshi's principle of life is not to seek the best of everything, but to have a clear conscience. To like is to like, not to deny the wishes of his heart. Even if the future looks very bad, Yunshi is still trying to find his own way. Did I tell you that I have sisters? Red Dragon Zaka blinked, more or less recovered. Well, this kind of forward-looking personality is really similar to Hua Hua. Hua Hua will not give up at any time, even facing the end of the world, she can live freely. She has the passion and strength, she is the queen of summer, is the forever bright color of Yunshi. You told me. Don't you remember? Yunshi, in turn, asked Red Dragon Zaka. Yunshi had already explored the experience of how to deal with the straightforward Zaka. My sisters are the greatest people in the world. When it comes to her sisters, she's in a state of complete mental recovery. My elder sister is the conqueror of the world, the highest king. As long as she wants to conquer the target, no one can resist her legion, she is invincible great king. That desert dragon Zaka? The king? Yunshi can't help but imagine the face of desert dragon Zaka. Conquest, well, she is really a girl who loves conquest very much, whether in war or in bed. My second sister has the highest wisdom. She is a proud ice queen, a beauty that people like you will never touch. Ice Dragon Zaka, Yunshi recalled the wedding night. She was hugged by Desert Dragon Zaka and rolled onto the bed reluctantly. That crystal white skin suffused with the lovely appearance, he can't forget even if he wants to. Yes, I'm Zaka, the great Zaka, the Red Dragon Princess. I will avenge my sisters. At this moment, Red Dragon Zaka finally remembered that she was still carrying the mission given by the great original dragon. If it wasn't for the damned twin witches, she might have swept through the whole southern tribal area and invaded the last kingdom of mankind to avenge her sisters. I can't lose. I can never die here. Even if she had to be humiliated and forced to do this and that shameful things by this abnormal's hand, she would have to live bravely. For the hatred of my sisters. For the great original dragon mother's mission. She doesn't care about anything. Ahu. Grabbing Yunshi's arm again, Red Dragon Zaka's eyes were ablaze with flames. Your sisters are not dead. Yunshi looks at the recovered Red Dragon Zaka with a guilty heart. After hesitating for a long time, he still doesn't tell the truth. Why Red Dragon Zaka thought that Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka had died. He could guess the reason. The lie he told the world seems to have become true. The 2 Zaka sisters changed from the dragons threatening the world to his princesses. He changed the script of the trial. And he, Desert Dragon Zaka, and Ice Dragon Zaka are already. It's impossible to regret. Is it the so-called lifting a stone and hitting your own foot? Even the world has been deceived by the lie. Then, practice with me. Since there is no way to relieve this wonderful relationship, then adapt to it. This is Yunshi's choice. There is nothing wrong with fighting the world, but it needs enough strength. As long as the trial of the Dragon's War is completed, everything will return to its original state. Practice what? Practice to act together, and the way to fight. Yunshi reached out his fingertips and touched the invisible but real line between them. The last gift left by LVJI is not just to tie Red Dragon Zaka around him. Through this invisible line, Yunshi can clearly feel the huge power of Red Dragon Zaka and the sound of heart beating. Bang, bang, bang. It was a beating sound that human beings could never have. It was the rhythm of the ultimate creature as a red dragon. The gift of LVJI replaced its original core and integrated her incomparable power. After defeating such Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi once again realized the power of the twin witches. Through this line of life connected with Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi also shared part of Red Dragon Zaka's dragon power. His eyes can see farther than usual, also have the ability to see through invisibility. His skin, quietly emerging lava-like lines, is one of the 3 secrets of the red steel genre, lava skin. The 3 secret skills of the red steel genre, lava breath, lava skin, and red steel blood, are the process of improving one's potential and evolving his body towards God's talent, the hard body. In order to have the hard body, the masters of the red steel genre will use every means to torture their bodies. They will fight with huge shackles all the year round, and rush to the front line at any time. Yunshi got the talent of the hard body from the seed of Mew Mew, and the talent of the soft body from the blessing of Hydra the water god. However, the two kinds of God's talents have not yet fully integrated, so it is necessary to take the initiative to switch forms when fighting. Red Dragon Zaka's physical strength is even more exaggerated than Yunshi's. As a red dragon holding the origin of fire, her body strength has reached a level of despair by nature. If it is not a god weapon level attack, no one can shake the hard dragon scale, which has incredible high magic resistance. When she launches her attacks, the whole sky will tremble. The red dragon Raw Wave, with the attribute of burning all things, is one of her best skills. It has the destructive power to both people and the army. Moving natural disasters, the red dragon, the Scarlet Destroyer, she alone has the power to destroy the world. Yunshi, who shared part of her strength, saw for the first time the weakness of the world from the perspective of the dragon. When the dragon is angry, the world will tremble. Red Dragon's anger can ignite the whole world. For Red Dragon Zaka, she is born with the power to dominate the world, and she is born to be the Flame King. How could such a powerful creature treat human beings on the same scale, so that she would say, "Give you 10 years to be the master of the world and then I will eat you"? The world outlook and moral outlook of human beings are not applicable to dragon people or powerful dragons like Red Dragon Zaka. In fact, they are not evil, and they don't like to eat people. They just can't follow the rules of human beings, and human beings can't understand the idea of the dragon with their own rules. If you want to communicate with the dragon, strength is necessary, just as human beings don't communicate with ants who can be trampled to death easily by their own feet. In this world, the dragon is the intelligent creature at the top of the pyramid, not human beings. The more he understands the dragon power flowing into his body through that line of life, the more he can understand why Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka take world conquest for granted. Because they have that power. Even the weakest of the 4 Zakas, Desert Dragon Zaka, has achieved the goal of suppressing more than half of the continent with one person. They may have some weakness in character, but they have the simplest and strongest power to break all strategies. Without the existence of Yunshi and the Starwings Knights, the Dragon Camp could dominate the world with just one Zaka. This is the world of the Dragon's War. Human beings are in an absolutely disadvantageous status. What Yunshi wants to challenge is the invincible original dragon. To fight together? Can you do it? Although she was saved by Yunshi, Red Dragon Zaka showed a suspicious expression. Can humans keep up with the speed and strength of the dragon race? Even if she can't change back to the real dragon posture, she has the confidence to sweep the whole human world. What? You say the twin witches? They are not humans, absolutely not humans, but something else. There are some things you can't know if you don't try them. Yunshi has never tried to fight with the dragon. However, he has practical experience in doing this thing and that thing with dragons. You don't understand the difference between human beings and dragon people. Red Dragon Zaka looks scornful and slowly raises her right hand. The shadow of a dark red dragon's claw flashed away, and Red Dragon Zaka tore at the mountains in front of them. Crack! The mountain peaks, several kilometers high, cut off from the middle and make a deafening noise. The mountain, which weighs tens of millions of tons, is smashed by one hit. That is the power of the dragon, and it is only the power of a dragon's claw. See, this is the power that human beings can never. Red Dragon Zaka suddenly froze. She looked at Yunshi, who is making the almost same posture, and even the fingertips appeared the same shadow of Red Dragon's claw. Crack! Yunshi, learning from Red Dragon Zaka's technique, dominates the unfamiliar power of the dragon and rips at the smaller mountain nearby. A huge claw mark appeared in the middle of the 1,500-meter-high peak, and then it broke through the mountain body cleanly. The mountain suddenly slides down, splashing dust all over the sky. How could that be possible? Red Dragon Zaka can't believe it. This human has also used the dragon claw. This is a secret skill that only the real dragon clan can display. It is a skill specially developed for the humanized giant dragon. It's a terrible power. Yunshi didn't expect that he could really use it. What's more, he felt more at the moment he released the red dragon's claw. No way. No way. No way. Red Dragon Zaka's eyes were ablaze with flames. It's just a human being, just a human being. Even the prince can't drive the power of the dragon. Red Dragon Zaka takes a deep breath. The dragon claw is just one of her unique skills. She has more terrifying and powerful power. Yunshi also learned from Red Dragon Zaka and took a deep breath. The movements of the two people are almost completely synchronized. Then Red Dragon Zaka opens her mouth, the crystal on her forehead is filled with the breath of fire, and the vertical pupil shrinks and expands. All creatures in a radius of hundreds of kilometers run instinctively at this moment, because they feel the breath from the ultimate creature. In the next second, a roar beyond the limits of human imagination spreads around Red Dragon Zaka, forming a sound wave in essence. It's the dragon roaring, the ultimate creature at the top of the pyramid of the food chain, releasing its own unique breath. Dragon roar. This is only a gift of the dragon. Even if the mortals gather into millions of legions, they are as vulnerable as ants in the face of this indiscriminate attack. If every mortal has one attack power, then can 1 + 1 pose a deadly threat to a creature whose attack power is 1 million? There is no such thing. Red Dragon Zaka's roar is such an extraordinary attack that can make mortals despair. Even the dragon roar in the human state is enough to kill 100,000 people in an instant. That's the absolute gap in the level of life. Even if the mortals of the whole human kingdom are put together, they are not the opponents of Red Dragon Zaka. To make such a roar, Red Dragon Zaka is trying to prove that there are some things that human beings can never do, which is the difference in the nature of life. However, what dazed Red Dragon Zaka's eyes was that, almost at the same time she roared, Yunshi also released almost the same sound. Red Dragon Zaka's roar, with her unique domineering and destructive atmosphere, is like an erupting volcano. The roar emitted by Yunshi has a kind of holy and pure breath. Even Yunshi doesn't know that the roar he made is holy-typed. Two different kinds of dragon roar are intertwined to form a huge tornado. The sound of dragon roar resounds from the sky and even reaches thousands of miles away. It's a resonance reaction. Holy-typed power and flame-typed power interlaced, turned into a dragon fire burning the sky, which is the perfect proof of the combination of the two attributes. You are not human, are you? Red Dragon Zaka looks at Yunshi, who is also at a loss. How can human beings roar and even cause the phenomenon of dragon roar? No, I'm ordinary. Yunshi felt the rippling waves in his body and found that in addition to the power of the dragon roar, there seemed to be other forces emerging. The wild and restless power. No doubt, it comes from the power of Desert Dragon Zaka. Relatively cold and penetrating, nature is the power of Ice Dragon Zaka. Yunshi understands these two kinds of dragon power. But what is the first awakened holy-typed dragon power? Such a holy-typed dragon power has never appeared in the world of Dragon's War before. Where did it come from? Moreover, it seems that rank is still on top of Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka. Even in the face of Red Dragon Zaka, the resonance caused by the roar radiates thousands of miles away. In the world of Dragon's War, is there a powerful dragon that has not appeared? I don't believe it. You must be a dragon clan. Red Dragon Zaka grins at Yunshi, who resonates with her power, and switches her moves again. Dragon Roar Wave, her strongest secret skill. Although it would be a great burden on the body to perform this move as a human being, she could not manage so much. She wants to prove that this human being can never perform such earth-shaking secret skill. Even among the giant dragons, not all dragons can display Dragon Roar Wave at will, which requires extremely huge vitality and strong control over the power of the field. Moreover, Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave has the particularity of multi-stack, which is far beyond the general Dragon Roar Wave. For every second of Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave last, its damage power will increase. As long as she has 5 minutes, she can smash the whole continent and sink it to the bottom of the sea. Crimson Dragon Roar Wave. This is the strongest trump card of Red Dragon Zaka. This is a move that even the terrible twin witches have to use the strongest killing moves to destroy. The dragon horn stretches out, and the deep red dragon tail appears behind red dragon Zaka. The vertical pupil reflects the fiery scenery, like the end of the world. Countless waves spread and superimposed around her, as if something were rippling in the strings of the world. If you can learn it, then I'll be with you. Red dragon Zaka raises her proud head and has absolute confidence in her strongest dragon roar wave. Only this can't be learned by others. This is the power given by the great original dragon mother to her to conquer the world. She firmly believes that her dragon roar wave is invincible. It's so beautiful. She looks at red dragon Zaka. For some reason she looks more dazzling than usual at this moment, just like a crimson comet. Burning eyes. Raised head because of self-confidence. Under the loose bowknot, the skin is crystal white, and her chest is like a pair of harvest fruits. Slim waist. Long legs and high heels. Red dragon Zaka, who doesn't look silly as usual and devotes all her heart and soul to the dragon roar wave, is a real princess, the ultimate creature who dominates the world and steps into the mysterious and unpredictable field. Her charm is now fully displayed in front of Yunxi. There is something stirring inside of Yunxi's chest. It is the voice that stimulates him to respond to the challenge of Red Dragon Zaka. It is a gift left by LVJI. You can do it. As long as it's you, there's nothing you can't do. Because you are the one I love and I am waiting for. Dragon Roar Wave, Pars. Yunxi felt the high-speed beat of his heart and began to capture the track of the string of the world. I saw it. So this is Dragon Roar Wave. After understanding how Dragon Roar Wave works, Yunxi quickly understands why Red Dragon Zaka is so confident that he can't perform this secret art. Dragon Roar Wave is a kind of super large-scale talent that can only be displayed by the dragon who has raised all his energy and spirit to the top. In essence, this move is to change the life wave of the dragon into a wave of air, and its power will show different posture according to the dragon's constitution. Only the dragon, whose body is 1,000 times harder than human beings, can turn its life essence into an attack means. In fact, human beings also have moves that are very close to this dragon's secret art in theory. They are called the disintegration of demons. Once launched, they will burn out the performers' lives. The dragon's natural vitality is more than 1,000 times that of human beings, so it can turn its vitality into a wave that sweeps everything. The essence of Dragon Roar Wave is the attack transformed from the vitality of a dragon, which can devour the essence of demons. Red Dragon Zaka is the red dragon with the highest vitality among the 4 Zakas, and can play the power of Dragon Roar Wave to the limit. Once launched, her Dragon Roar Wave has the characteristics of continuously improving its power, and it takes only 5 minutes to reach the level of world destruction. With such a devastating Dragon Roar Wave, she is entitled to be proud and firmly believes that human beings can never learn the same moves. Her theory is correct. Human beings can't use Dragon Roar Wave, because as long as the upper limit of human life does not reach the legend rank, there will be a gap between human beings and dragons. This is not an area where learning can be achieved. It is the absolute advantage of the superior race over the inferior race. Human beings are unable to compare with the dragon's life limit. It's an impossible task to accomplish. Without the vitality of dragon, even if human beings master the Dragon Roar Wave in some way, they will drain the vitality in the moment of use, and become part of the Dragon Roar Wave. The pride of the Red Dragon Princess is also the pride of the dragon race. Even if Yunxi displays the Dragon Claw and the Dragon Roar, she will never believe that he can use Dragon Roar Wave. The Crimson Wave covered the earth, engulfed the heaven and earth, and instantly spread to the area of 10 kilometers. In the area covered by Dragon Roar Wave, everything is burned and melted. It seems that the whole ground is like melted cream, and the whole crust tends to be burnt out. Domineering and invincible. Even the twin witches did not choose to confront the devastating Dragon Roar Wave. Instead, they wiped out the heart of the Red Dragon Princess with an unknown and terrible secret art, and forcibly interrupted the Crimson Dragon Roar Wave. Looking from the sky, it seems that there is suddenly a spreading crimson disk on the ground. This disk presents beautiful and distinct red lines, which looks like the most gorgeous art. Yes, it's really art. It's the art of doomsday that burns out everything. Huge beads of sweat appear on Red Dragon Zaka's forehead. Although the power of this move is unparalleled, it requires unimaginable physical strength and vitality. Even with the dragon's humanized posture, this move exhausted her full strength. At present, she can only last this secret art for about 3 minutes. However, this is enough. Dragon Roar Wave has no rival. She just wants to prove to this human being that there are some things he can't do. Some fields, no matter how hard humans try, can't be touched. That's the privilege of the highest race in the endless gods' domains. Even elves, an element of the upper race, are also unable to turn his life essence into a wave of destruction like the dragon race. Dragon Roar Wave, this is the pride of the dragon people. Yunshi really understood this point after experiencing the power of Dragon Roar Wave from zero distance. It's impossible for human beings to display Dragon Roar Wave. However, he can do it. Even he's a little bit worried about what kind of Dragon Roar Wave he should learn. At this moment, as in response to the Dragon Roar Wave performed by Red Dragon Princess, 3 different Dragon Roar Wave patterns appear in Yunshi's mind. The first is Dragon Roar Wave from his third princess, Desert Dragon Zaka. Desert Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave has a special starting mode, which can automatically condense 4 eyes of sand. With these 4 eyes of sand as the core, the covered area will be completely turned into desert and the terrain will be changed by force. It is a Dragon Roar Wave born with the curse of desertification. The second is Dragon Roar Wave from his fourth princess, Ice Dragon Zaka. The Dragon Roar Wave of Ice Dragon Zaka is a typical Dragon Roar Wave with a large release range and a very long duration. It can even be resident and become a field similar to Halo. The area covered by Ice Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave will become a world of ice and snow. Yunshi is very glad that he finally married her. Otherwise, if she starts this move, the last kingdom of mankind will become a kingdom of ice and snow. The last Dragon Roar Wave, Yunshi, has no idea how it came from. It's a very beautiful Dragon Roar Wave with a sacred breath. The effect is unknown. The principle is unknown. What kind of dragon belongs to? He doesn't know. It's just the way to launch naturally engraved in Yunshi's memory. The structure is extremely beautiful and simple. It is clear at a glance. It is composed of a vertex and 4 rotating lines. It shows different characteristics from other Dragon Roar Waves. Although I do not understand the principle, just use it. Yunshi raises his finger and immerses himself in the simple and wonderful outline. The only point is the coordinate. For continuously rotating lines, take the point as the tip. The construction of the whole Dragon Roar Wave is far from the general circular diffusion model, but it gives people a flavor of containing the truth of all things. Dragon Roar Wave. On Yunshi's fingertips, there is a sacred silver-white light ball jumping. That is the truth that can penetrate the wall of the universe. It is the beacon that lights up the front. It is the power of faith that can break through the barriers between God's domain and extremely specialize a certain will. Bet on your own life, desperate to find. Even if the body is covered with wounds, even if it is pierced by 10,000 swords, he will never waver and never retreat. Even if the barrier in front of me is the barrier of the world, which cannot be destroyed by the gods, I will never give up. It was a sudden, spiral light falling from the distant sky. The point at the top presents a beautiful and incredible silvery white color, and the 4 lines behind it are constantly spinning and flying, and instantly accelerates it to an impossible level. The silvery white flash turned into a column of light through the earth and scattered the ominous red ripple from the center. Once again, Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave was forced to be interrupted. This time, it was not her heart that was wiped away, which led to the collapse of the Dragon Roar Wave. It was really defeated by the higher-level Dragon Roar Wave, which could penetrate the world barrier and could travel in the void. Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave can destroy the earth and burn the sky, turning the world of Dragon's War into dust in 5 minutes. The unknown Silver Dragon Roar Wave can even break through the barrier amongst the worlds. That's the power of gods. The sacred Silver Dragon Roar Wave has more power than Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave. However, Yunshi suffered a lot from the consumption of vitality. In just 1 second, his body is empty. Fortunately, He is still in the state of life connection with Red Dragon Zaka. If he is alone, he will burn out himself like firewood. The power of the sacred silver dragon raw wave is just like that of the sun wing from Princess Golden Crow, far beyond the limit Yoon she can grasp now. In a sense, the Red Dragon Princess's judgment is correct. It is impossible for human beings to use dragon raw wave. However, her failure is also clear and irrefutable. After the two dragon raw waves were annihilated in an instant, the two people connected by the line of life collapse on the ground with a face full of loveless expression. Cough, it's impossible. Red Dragon Zaka, who has been drained of her essence, half because Yoon-shi borrowed a lot of essences, looks desperate. You can't be human. How is it possible for human beings to launch dragon raw wave? Red Dragon Zaka is puzzled about how Yoon-shi launched the dragon raw wave. In this world, except for the four sisters of Zaka and the great original dragon, there is no other dragon race. Where did the silver dragon raw wave come from? It doesn't look like a thing of this world at all. If it lasted a few more seconds, it would probably break through the world. Her crimson dragon raw wave will destroy the world in about 5 minutes. The strange dragon raw wave can pierce the world in about 5 seconds. There is no doubt that she lost. She lost cleanly and had no chance to argue. I'm very common. Well, he's just a very ordinary child of stars. Yoon-shi doesn't know if there are other children of stars. 1 second after the dragon raw wave was launched, Yoon-shi was so tired that he can barely speak. 1 second, he only used 1 second of dragon raw wave. With the talent of the hard body and the soft body, he also borrowed the massive essence of Red Dragon Zaka. Starting the dragon raw wave in this second exhausted almost all his essence. If it continues, he will immediately turn into dust and go to see the familiar bonfire. Dragon raw wave is really a terrible thing. No creatures can afford to launch this secret art apart from dragons. It's so sad to be drained. Which ordinary human being can be the same as you? After seeing Yoon-shi and his very different dragon raw wave, Red Dragon Zaka's tone has changed subtly. She likes strong people, because she is a strong person among the strong people and will dominate this land in the future. Only the strong people at her level are qualified to stay at her side. Until just now, Yoon-shi was just the level of a human being who had the chance to kill her when she was dying. Although it is already a great standard for human beings, it is not qualified for her to treat him equally. This self-confidence was not completely changed until her dragon raw wave was defeated by Yoon-shi's dragon raw wave. This human is different and special. He, like the twin witches, didn't look like a human being. It is said that although most of the human beings are average creatures, however, in 100 million probability, there will be unimaginable super strong people. Maybe, this human is the 1 in a billion chance of this world. He can't be a dragon. Red Dragon Zaka is 100% sure of this. But at the moment when he released the unknown dragon raw wave, she really felt the same breath as hers and was far stronger than hers. I'm really ordinary. Yoon-shi raised his fingertips, and there remained the mystery power. The silver-white point, and 4 lines of infinite rotation. He feels that there are some mysteries in them. Unfortunately, he is far away from understanding the power at this time. He can't use this move alone in any case. In fact, the Red Dragon Princess didn't lose the battle, because, without her, 10 Yoon-xis together couldn't perform this dragon raw wave. Yoon-shi has a way to perform this move, and his body also remembers the feeling of release. However, his life essence is 1,000 times lesser than the most basic requirement. Therefore, it is not so much that Yoon-shi defeated the Red Dragon Princess, but rather that the combination of Yoon-shi and Red Dragon Princess defeated herself. However, Yoon-shi has actually used Dragon Raw Wave, and its power is above that of the Red Dragon Princess. The agreement between the two is not that who wins or loses, but only can human beings do it. At this point, Yoon-shi won. Agreement is agreement. I promise you, from now on, I will act with you and fight together. Red Dragon Zaka bit her teeth and reluctantly accepted Yoon-shi's proposal. Target: Red Dragon Princess Zaka. Personality: impulsive and conceited, proud and confident. No matter how you look at her, She looks like a princess who has been spoiled since childhood. However, once a promise is made, it will be conscientiously observed. This character is very similar to her sisters. All the Zaka sisters he has met have such good qualities. Even Ice Dragon Zaka, the coldest of all, agreed to his proposal and fulfilled her responsibility as the fourth princess. Hey, what are you looking at? Practice with me quickly. After agreeing to work with Yun Shi, Red Dragon Zaka's attitude towards Yun Shi has changed significantly. If it's before Yun Shi performed the Dragon Roar Wave, her words must be, "Go to hell, you perverted human being." Well, in fact, she is a good girl. Yun Shi stood up and moved his body. After the same 5 minutes rest, the Red Dragon Princess had recovered her fighting power, while Yun Shi was still very weak. Just like the morning after the wedding night, he could not make any strength at all. It is clear that half of her recovered essence has flowed into Yun Shi's body, but the difference in physical quality is still so great. A dragon is a dragon. Even if she transformed into a human being, her essence of life is very different from that of human beings. Since we will stay together, we have to cooperate with each other. If you can't keep up with my speed, I will suffer. Red Dragon Zaka, with her hands on her hips, looks at Yun Shi with a serious attitude. In battle, you'll hold me back. I am not a dragon. I can't recover so fast. Yun Shi helplessly looked at the Red Dragon Princess, who began to get excited for some reason he didn't know. Through the invisible line of life formed by LVJI's power, he can clearly perceive the constant boiling dragon blood in Red Dragon Zaka's body at the moment. It's just 5 minutes after her strongest Dragon Roar Wave has been smashed, but she has been so vigorous again. On the contrary, Yun Shi has gained half of the essence of Red Dragon Zaka, but his body is still not managing. There is such a big gap between human beings and dragon people. First, running together is the foundation of the foundation. Recognizing Yun Shi's qualification to fight alongside her, Red Dragon Zaka unleashed unprecedented enthusiasm, almost in sharp contrast to the hostility of the first encounter. To suit your speed, I'll hold your hand. Grasping Yun Shi's hand, Red Dragon Zaka, who seems to have finally found a solution, has a burning flame in her eyes. Yes, that's the best way. As long as we keep holding hands, I will never leave the invisible line. That's the best way to get rid of the curse. Run. No matter whether Yun Shi agrees or disagrees, Red Dragon Zaka has been forced to do it. Oh, wait, I'm not ready yet. Human beings are not dragons. They can't revive in 5 minutes after performing suicide moves. It is clear that Red Dragon Zaka is not malicious, but Yun Shi always feels that he has chosen another wrong option. Is it better not to use the unknown Dragon Roar Wave? Now the Red Dragon Princess is obviously overexcited at another level. No matter what she encounters, she will rush up. What a young and active girl. This kind of childishness is like hua hua in some way. No way. Let's run. 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 Holding Yun Shi's hand, Red Dragon Zaka runs at a high speed as if she has endless amounts of energy. Where are we going? Yun Shi didn't know his position. There was no such thing as road in the route they were heading to. Red Dragon Zaka chose a straight line. What about the woods in the way? Once she uses her dragon claw, any place can be the road. What about a river 100 meters wide? Give it a sprint jump past. What to do with the thorny swamp and a group of vicious crocodiles? After a few fireballs, the swamp was burned into hard ground, and the crocodiles became roasted crocodiles. There is nothing to stop Red Dragon Zaka from running. She takes Yun Shi across mountains, rivers, forests, swamps, and rushes all the way to the desert area. In the setting sun, there are 2 running figures, which are the youth of boys and girls. When Red Dragon Zaka finally stopped, Yun Shi looked at the oasis in the desert area and found that he had already traveled half a continent. According to the map he had seen in the palace, it was a desert area in the west of the mainland, which had long been conquered by his third princess, Desert Dragon Zaka. The desert tribes here have collectively converted to the dragon, forming a new dragon belief. In addition, the northern ice field, which has been occupied by the enemy for a long time, has become the inland of the Dragon Kingdom and is the domain dominated by the original giant dragon. Not bad, you passed. Red Dragon Zaka looks at Yun Shi, who runs with her even though he doesn't want to. Without wings, she was not used to running on the ground. It took her a day to reach the distance that the dragon wings could easily fly over. However, it is worth it. In the process of running, she gradually gets familiar with the rhythm of Yunxi, and Yunxi gradually keeps up with her pace. It is a tacit understanding that naturally arises between the two sides. Hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, two people's heartbeat and breathing rhythm become consistent. It's hard to describe that feeling, for the first time in his life, and for Red Dragon Zaka. Holding hands with him, without thinking about any problems, just running with the sun toward the west. The first defeat in her life. The tension of being cursed. In the confrontation with the human beside her, she can see the stronger dragon roar wave. Originally complex thoughts, with the two people running together, gradually became simple. Yes, this human is qualified to run with me. He can catch up with me and keep improving. If it is this human being, he is qualified to advance with me. In the end, they failed to catch up with the sun. They stopped in the oasis and watched the sunset finally set in the west of the horizon. Okay, that's the end of running training. Red Dragon Zaka releases Yunxi's hand, stretches his body, and looks at Yunxi with a wonderful look. That kind of feeling, just like a little dog who has been crazy for a day outside and looks at her master eagerly after returning home. I'm hungry. After the rapid development of the relationship with Yunxi, Red Dragon Zaka has a strong case for food. Only bread. Yunxi took a look at the oasis. In addition to clear spring, there were only a few poplar trees with their leaves tightly closed and large areas of cactus. In the distance, it seems that there were a few scorpions and other creatures foolishly hovering on the sand dunes, but dare not close here. There is no doubt that they feel the smell of a dragon, the ultimate creature at the top of the pyramid of the food chain. Bread will do. Red Dragon Zaka gulps in her throat and gulps down her saliva. Before that, she had never thought that bread, a kind of common food of human beings, would have such a strong attraction for her. No, it's not about the bread. It's his bread. His bread is unusual. That kind of bread contains some ingredients that make her unable to stop. If she just takes a small bite, she will feel like she is floating. Yes, that's the smell. It's the smell of crime. Red Dragon Zaka looked straight at Yunxi's golden-colored bread from his own storage and snatched it with lightning speed. Ahu! With a big bite, she once again showed a happy expression. Well, if I can eat such delicious bread every day, it seems that it is not impossible to act with this human being temporary. Yunxi looks at his golden cream bread in a daze. He didn't put anything strange in this bread. Why does Red Dragon Zaka show such an attractive and lovely expression when biting this golden butter bread? Through the line of life connected between them, he could clearly feel her elation, unbridled mood. In terms of human language, this is probably the case. Yummy, yummy, yummy. One more, one more. One is not enough, more. With sweet white cream on her mouth, Red Dragon Zaka shook her little feet and reached out to Yunxi. The meaning could not be more obvious. Another one. Oh, don't eat too much, you will become fat. Yunxi stretched out his hand, and another golden butter bread appeared in the palm of his hand, and was bitten away by the long-waiting Red Dragon Zaka. Giant Dragon doesn't need to worry about getting fat. Red Dragon Zaka hums a tune to show off her proud figure. The skin is white and tender. The neck is long and snow-white, more beautiful and smooth than a swan's neck. The typical oval pretty face, coupled with the small and classic features, has become a very attractive picture. The beautiful girl's body, which is exquisite and full of youthful breath, is within the reach of Yunxi's hands. Obviously, he didn't eat much, but Yunxi felt like a full meal. The thread of life actively conveys a certain impulse of Red Dragon Zaka towards him. Like, I want to lick his body. Delusion, delusion. It must be a delusion. In fact, this is not a delusion. Red Dragon Zaka looks at Yunxi quietly and licks the white cream from her mouth. Through the pupils of Yunxi, she can see her human posture. No matter how she looks at it, she is a beautiful and peerless beauty in his pupils. Well, is that line of sight, looking at my chest? Unable to help it, Red Dragon Zaka recalled how her soft chest had been kneaded by the other party over and over again, and she was deeply immersed in the feeling. This pervert is so interested in her chest. Human beings are hopeless. I won't show you. Red Dragon Zaka hugs her chest and makes a face at Yunshi. Found out? The guilty Yunshi turns his head. It is really not a thing a gentleman should do. Well, tell me about you. You should be one of the strongest men in the world. Now that she has to stay with Yunshi for a while, Red Dragon Zaka becomes curious about Yunshi's identity. Just an ordinary human being? Don't try to fool me. If even an ordinary human can use the dragon raw wave, there will be no room for other races in the endless god's domains. No, I'm far from the real strong. Yunshi naturally comes up with his own invincible childhood sweetheart Hua Hua, as well as the twin witches who defeated Red Dragon Zaka. Taking them as the reference target, Yunshi doesn't feel that he is very strong at all. It's better to say that he had just caught up with them. Red Dragon Zaka, on the other hand, is born strong. She can destroy the world in 5 minutes. It's no joke. If their WSSNT the connection of LVJI's lifeline, he has no chance to defeat her except to open the forbidden door of Starwings. Recognizing the gap is one of the manifestations of Yunshi's growth. The Queen of Assyria, White Moon, Desert Dragon Zaka, and Ice Dragon Zaka, his 4 princesses are all real monsters in a sense. Especially the Queen of Assyria, the master of the Forgotten Ruins, she made Yunshi revived from the bonfire for countless times. When I can fight with Red Dragon Zaka without the Starwings, maybe I will be one of the strong. I wanted to be stronger and stronger than anyone else, so I came to try. Yunshi held out his right hand, and the starlights fell from his finger joints. No matter what the world is, he can see the stars all over the sky. As long as the stars shine on the place, he will be full of courage, because that is the great stars care for him. Therefore, no matter how many setbacks he encountered, no matter how many times he died, he would believe that he would find the way to hope. Yes, only the real strong people are worthy of the world. Red Dragon Zaka also reaches out her finger and grabs Yunshi's hand. The 2 fingers are connected and their cheeks are getting closer. Why? What is she doing? Why? What am I doing? Yunshi's face was tense, showing an expression of going to accept but yet refuse. Red Dragon Zaka, on the other hand, has a confused expression of where is this place? Who am I, and what am I doing? Only the green flower in her chest, the gift left by LVJI to Yunshi, the only flower in the world, quietly unfolds its petals and releases certain elements. It's fragrant, sweet, and intoxicating. Why do I want to kiss this human being? Red Dragon Zaka only felt that her mind was in a state of confusion. She couldn't remember anything or think about anything. She just had an instinctive impulse, which seemed to urge her to try to absorb some elements. Subconsciously, she understands that it was very, very delicious. The little red dragon, who had enjoyed Yunshi's bread, had no immunity to it. But how to eat it? It's okay to eat like this. Red Dragon Zaka lowers her head and clasps her fingers with Yunshi. Her beautiful face is as red as sunset. Her body instinctively flustered trembling, and her heart rate constantly accelerating, seems to be waiting for something to moisten. Yunshi looks at the lovely Red Dragon Zaka in front of him and can't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. It's terrible, it's really bad. He clearly knows that this is not a thing he should do, but there is no place to escape. He and Red Dragon Zaka are bound to the line of life, not only the young Red Dragon Princess but also himself. Yunshi realized this only now. Looking at the closer and closer lips of the lovely Red Dragon Princess, Yunshi can't hide. Red Dragon Zaka's hairband was automatically untied, and her long hair fell down, and her skin was shining like jade in the moonlight. The girl's soft face pasted on Yunshi's cheek, and 2 people's lips naturally combined. Boom! Just in an instant, there was a flame burning in both of their bodies. It is the flame of life, it is a brilliant color, it is the band intertwined with each other. Compared with the unruly Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi almost immediately took the initiative. He wantonly kisses the fragrant lip that has never been touched by a man. The whole person seems to be burning. With his powerful tongue, it is easy to open and close the barrier. He puts it into the mouth, licks it slowly, and sips it from time to time so that the little red dragon princess makes a lovely voice. At this time, the experience of the wedding night is perfectly displayed. For how to get close to Zaka's, Yunshi's proficiency has reached the level of a master. And Red Dragon Zaka's experience in this area is, of course, 0. Beautiful long hair randomly scattered on the chest, under the light of stars, send out a kind of soft luster like jade. The smooth and warped twin peaks are perfectly pressed on Yunshi's chest, bringing a greasy touch. Yunshi kisses greedily while freeing his right hand and let it slide slowly along the pink cheek and jade neck to Red Dragon Zaka's tall and plump chest. Through the gentle and smooth arc, Yunshi's hands from front to back gradually slide from the greasy and soft back of the neck to the slender waist, and slowly encircle the smooth abdomen, so that he once again experienced the taste of the fragrant body. As Yunshi's actions became more and more excessive, Red Dragon Zaka suddenly blushed and immediately fell into chaos, and her consciousness of resistance disappeared again. The green flowers that successfully add Yunshi's ingredients continue to drive the lost little red dragon and let her actively approach Yunshi. Well. Red Dragon Zaka's red cherry mouth becomes more sweet and greasy with a touch of refreshing fragrance. The smell is. Yunshi is also a bit hazy as if entering a dream. In front of his eyes, the Red Dragon Princess's face gradually became the face of Desert Dragon Zaka, and then the face of Ice Dragon Zaka. After all, they look so similar. With his strong arms around the soft waist of Red Dragon Zaka, his palms caress the girl's smooth and delicate back, and his lips gently kiss her forehead, eyes, and cheek. When the girl's expression changed from tense to soft and shy, he sipped and sucked her fragrant pink lip and entangled with her sweet tongue. The long kiss made Red Dragon Zaka's body more soft and powerless, and almost lost all the resistance. Of course, just like last night, even if she resisted, there would be no change. Yunshi's lips continued to move downward, planted a few bright rose kisses on Red Dragon Zaka's crystal white neck, and gently bit the soft and full bud. Every time Yunshi's tongue sweeps across it, Red Dragon Zaka makes a whine. Waves of redness appear on the snow-white body. The straight and plump legs are sometimes stretched and sometimes folded. The smooth and delicate skin is even hotter as if it was ignited. Yunshi just took a light bite, and the pair of white rabbits bound by the bowknot had broken away from the shackles of the dress and exposed to the air. Under the starlight, the jade-like cheeks, small and delicate nose, ruddy lips, as well as the full and straight chest, slender waist, all send out the pleasant smell that Yunshi can't resist. At this time, are you going to be an animal, or continue to resist like a gentleman? Yunshi was in a great deal of trouble, but soon he didn't have to worry. Because Red Dragon Zaka has bitten his ear and began to absorb a special factor called Yunshi's ingredient more actively. A cloud passed by quietly and blocked the moon. Eat you. Biting Yunshi's ear, Red Dragon Zaka made a voice that he didn't know if it was a demonstration or a temptation. Well, next, she really went from toe to finger, from ear to, eat Yunshi up and down. Tonight is a peaceful night. Or, it's time for the little white rabbit to attack the wolf. Under the stars, the Red Dragon Princess pulled the clear and cold spring water on her delicate white body. Transparent water drops from the red face to the white neck, and then to fragrant collarbone, tender arm, delicate jade-like back, flat abdomen, soft waist, round hip, slender legs, thin feet, and finally return to the water. In the starlight, the crystal-clear skin exudes a wonderful white luster. The spring water at night is very cold. The Red Dragon Princess's body is very hot. Behind her is Yunshi, whose eyes closed and face embarrassed. Don't look, I'll kill you. Red Dragon Zaka, who is washing her body, stares at the bastard who has done those things just now. Careless, I was too careless. I can't get married. I didn't open my eyes. Yunshi felt that it was really unjust. It was her who took the initiative to do that to him. The passionate deep kiss, a little tender but indefatigable way of intimacy. The energy of the dragon is really amazing. Big liar. Red Dragon Zaka washes her hair and skin with spring water. Her body has his smell everywhere. What? Did she take the initiative to push him down? There is no such thing. Everything is his fault. No matter what, it must be his fault. Zakas don't make mistakes. The daughters of the great original dragon are symbols of truth. Everything Zakas did is right because they had the power to make rules. What is this kind of person? Looking at the traces left on her body, Red Dragon Zaka's small face turned red and recalled what had happened just now. Did her feet have stepped on him many times? At the same time, they were kissed many times. What's more embarrassing is that she took the initiative to lick. It must be this guy's fault, it must be the moon's fault, it must be the star's fault, it must be the sun's fault. Anyway, it's definitely not her fault. She never thought that she would have such a relationship with human beings in her whole life. It's too impure. Does she like this human? No way. Even if tomorrow is the end of the world, she won't like him. To get her heart, at least he has to be a king. This guy is not like a king at all. And how many girls have been violated by this bastard? Why was he so skilled? Forget it. Forget what happened tonight. Nothing happened tonight. It's all your dream. Red Dragon Zaka gritted her teeth and yelled in Yunshi's ear. Okay. I know it's a delusion, it is just my dream. Yunshi raises his right hand helplessly and makes an appointment with Red Dragon Zaka. Pinky swear. If you dare to tell anyone, I will eat you, from toe to hair. Red Dragon Zaka's roar was loud, with an imperceptible sense of shame. Yes, I will never say it. Yunshi takes Red Dragon Zaka's little finger and shakes it. It's a secret between us. Idiot, pervert, big liar. Biting Yunshi's finger, Red Dragon Zaka left a small tooth mark this time. The red dress woven by magic reappeared on her body. The old one had just disappeared because of some flame. Her high-heeled shoes trample heavily on the ground beside Yunshi as if it's a part of Yunshi's body. Oh, she really dislikes me. It's really bad. Why can't I just control my impulse? Yunshi sighs at Red Dragon Zaka, who looks at him with her look becomes more and more scornful. At first, it was Red Dragon Zaka who took the initiative, but after that, he couldn't say that he wasn't affected. When embracing her, he always has the delusion that he was holding his fifth princess. What a mistake! What a mistake! Bang! 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 The untimely heartbeat rings out, seems to be smiling at this pair who just entered the wonderful world. Heartbeat can't lie. Red Dragon Zaka's heart is pounding, that is the pure feeling of a girl. Yunshi's heart is pounding, that's the troubled youth's regret. Youth is always so easy to be impulsed, chagrined. Some wonderful atmosphere spread between them. Say something. You liar, do you dare to do such a thing to me and dare not to admit it? Red Dragon Zaka's hands rested on her hips with a reproachful look. Maybe, it's not to blame someone but to know, to understand a problem. Only Yunshi can give this problem an answer, a perfect answer that makes the other side blush. Didn't you say, you want me to forget it? Yunshi asked in confusion. He doesn't understand the young girl's caprice at all. Ah, you stupid fool. Red Dragon Zaka trampled on Yunshi's feet with her high heels. Fool. Why can't you understand? I just want to know, why can't you understand? Even if you are a liar, you are also a liar who has won the Great Red Dragon Princess and completed the unprecedented great cause in human history. I want to be praised by you. I want you to say I am the most beautiful princess in the world. I want you to tell me that you who have the Red Dragon Princess are the happiest person in the world. Too stupid. Yes, I'm a fool. In such a situation, Yunshi can only act like a fool. Well, it's especially useful for Hua Hua. When Hua Hua is angry, he just has to admit his mistake and pretend to be a fool, and he can be forgiven. Well, at last, you know yourself. Red Dragon Zaka grabs Yunshi's face and makes a funny expression. The luckiest thing in your life is to meet the magnanimous Red Dragon Princess. Magnanimous? It seems that he has been forgiven. Yunshi quietly breathed a sigh of relief. The more Yunshi gets along with the Zaka sisters, the more he can feel their frankness and innocence. From the perspective of human beings, they are truly dangerous creatures with the power of destroying the world. However, they are not evil, and they are not monsters that will destroy everything for no reason. Instead, they all have their own personalities and see the world in their own way. Desert Dragon Zaka, Ice Dragon Zaka, and Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi has met 3 of Zaka's 4 sisters. According to what Yunshi has seen so far, the younger the Zaka is, the stronger her strength is. Red Dragon Zaka, who is by his side at the moment, could destroy the continent in 5 minutes. So, how powerful is the Zaka that has not yet appeared? And they are just the 4 kings who guard the original dragon, the final boss. Yunshi once again feels that the difficulty of this world is too much. What a wonderful creature. After being forgiven by Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi walks up to her. I'm Zaka, the most powerful dragon in the world. Since you want us to act together, you have to be worthy of me. Red Dragon Zaka grabbed Yunshi's hand in high spirits. After last night, something happened. Once they crossed that line, they cannot go back. Since they can't go back, they can only accept it and deal with it. Red Dragon Zaka looks at Yunshi and makes a decision. Be strong with me. In this way, you are qualified to be mine. At this point, Red Dragon Zaka's face turned red and she couldn't speak anymore. Obviously, it is something that can never be forgiven. She never expected that the whole thing would develop to such an indescribable degree. Now, there are still Yunshi's kisses on her skin, neck, chest, and abdomen, which is the proof of the 2 people's time together. At the same time, it is also a contract, which is more vivid than any word or oath. In her chest, the flower of life is releasing a new force. That's the power of hope and fetter. 2 people naturally hand in hand, ushered in the morning light. On the eastern horizon of the desert, a golden red sun leaps out, illuminating the faces of Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Go and conquer the world with me. Red Dragon Zaka exclaimed what she had to do, what her sisters couldn't do. Is this really so important to you? Yunshi has always been unable to understand why the dragon had to conquer the world. For this reason they even dare to fight against all other intelligent creatures. This is a matter of course, because the Great Mother wants the world. We will fight for our mother. I lost to the witches once, but as long as I'm alive, I will continue to fulfill my mission. Dragons can never be defeated. Red Dragon Zaka raised her proud head, took Yunshi's hand and pointed to the rising sun on the eastern horizon. We are the masters of the world. Yunshi was silent, and finally realized that the world outlook, law, social order, and so on of humanity was really meaningless to the dragons. The ultimate creature with the strongest power can really do whatever it wants. If he wants the original dragon to change its plan, at least he must have the power to defeat it. Just the 3rd Zaka already has the power of destroying the world. How powerful would the original giant dragon be? Can the world be saved? I want to see the twin witches. After a moment, Yunshi hesitated to say his destination. Perhaps, only with the support of the twin witches, the world that seems bound to be dominated by the dragon will usher in the dawn. Do you want to kill them, too? Red Dragon Zaka's eyes lit up. No, I just think your heart hasn't disappeared. You have to find it. Yunshi found a reason to temporarily conceal the truth that he went to see the twin witches. However, this excuse is not a lie, because he does feel the message from the green flower. Red Dragon Zaka's heart is not really completely erased, but still exists in this world. In other words, the lost heart of Red Dragon Zaka is still in the world, but it is not in her body. It was taken away by the twin witches in a special way. The flower of LVJI is just a temporary substitute for the heart function of Red Dragon Zaka. If he wants Red Dragon Zaka to survive, he has to find her real heart. Well, did you notice that? Red Dragon Zaka was surprised to see Yunshi, who volunteered to find her heart. Clearly, she didn't say a word about her lost heart. Your heart, it's not going to die that easily. Yunshi looks at Red Dragon Zaka's chest. He has experienced it many times last night. Yes, I'm Zaka, the child of the great original dragon mother. It's not so easy to kill me. Red Dragon Zaka puffed up her chest and hesitated for a moment, but the twin witches are really strange. They don't look like creatures in this world at all. The way they fight is terrible. Especially when they're fighting together. At this point, Red Dragon Zaka pauses, and the vertical pupils shrink into two small dots. The feeling they gave me is they are no longer within the scope of life. No longer within the scope of life. She looks at Red Dragon Zaka in confusion, unable to understand her fearless expression. Are Red Lotus and White Lotus so scary? She has never seen Red Lotus and White Lotus fighting together, but only infers from their seeds that they are good at fighting together. It's clear at a glance that they're closer than him and Red Dragon Zaka, who are tied with the line of life, because they are real twins. From birth to now, they don't even have a second of separation time. The twin witches may be the most powerful human beings on this continent. If you want to win them, you have to attack them before they have time to react, and cut off their contact with the strongest blow. Otherwise, you will die. How strong are they? She understands how strong Red Dragon Zaka is. Her dragon roar wave can destroy the whole continent in 5 minutes, and this is far from her full strength. If she transforms back to the real dragon form, her power could even be stronger. In fact, his holy dragon roar wave is also a forbidden skill which can only be performed with Red Dragon Zaka's vitality. It is not a field that he can enter now. They are strange. Looking back on the battle with the twin witches not long ago, the more Red Dragon Zaka thought about it, the more wrong it was. The witch in red is very powerful in swordsmanship. She should be the strongest swordsman in human beings. The witch in white doesn't seem to be good at fighting head-on, but she has a god weapon with very strong attributes. I won't be afraid of either one of them if it's a one-on-one fight. But facing them two at the same time, recalling the moment when she finally lost the battle, Red Dragon Zaka's pupil glowed with a red halo, and then projected a scene that she did not see. Look, this is what they were like then. She is engrossed in the light curtain that appears in front of Red Dragon Zaka and sees the twin witches he has never seen so far. He can see that this is from the perspective of the dragon. At this time, the sky has been ignited, and the domineering crimson dragon roar wave covers almost the whole sky and is still spreading. In a deep red lotus, dressed in a maple leaf witch costume, guards White Lotus with a sword, and her face seems to show a trace of hesitation. White Lotus opened her mouth and said something softly. Red Lotus closed her eyes and shook her head as if she didn't want to accept White Lotus's advice. White Lotus gently shakes her ring of star and moon, and countless light spots are flying out of the god weapon made by She's gift to her. The next second, the light dots turn into coordinates, summoning thousands of stars from the sky. That's exactly what she sees from the ground, the stars falling from the sky and bombarding Red Dragon Zaka's dragon roar wave. However, this move did not defeat the powerful Red Dragon Princess, but infuriated her. The Red Dragon Princess accelerates the attack. For a moment, the magic shield performed by Red Lotus is a little shaky, and it looks like it will break apart in the next second. At this time, she even thought that Red Dragon Zaka had a huge advantage and was only one step away from defeating the twin witches. In the world of the Dragon's War, the power shown by Red Dragon Zaka has undoubtedly reached the highest level. What can be compared with her is the Queen of Assyria under the Blood Moon. However, the Queen of Assyria seems to be restricted to some extent, but the power of Red Dragon Zaka is real and pure. At this time, White Lotus made an action. She put her own ring of star and moon gently on her sister's head, then the two face to face, 10 fingers clasped. Look carefully, this is where I feel strange. Looking back on this scene again, Red Dragon Zaka's breath suddenly becomes fast. It was totally unexpected, and it was proof that she thought it was absolutely impossible for the twin witches to be human. Behind them, the altar appeared. Step on the altar, the twin witches' bodies gradually disappeared. Next, the witch in white suddenly appears, turns around and claps at Red Dragon Zaka. In her hands, there is a golden balance. At one end of the scale is an unknown golden feather. At the other end of the scale is a beating heart. After comparing the weight of these two things, the witch in white showed a mysterious smile. At this moment, she also felt the fear of Red Dragon Zaka at that time. It can't be White Lotus, it's something else. Obviously, she has the same appearance as White Lotus and Red Lotus, but observing carefully, the clothes on the witch are different. What Red Lotus is wearing is a witch's dress with red maple leaves. White Lotus is wearing is a pure white witch's dress. The witch with the golden balance has decorations that don't belong to White Lotus or Red Lotus. That kind of decoration seems to be older. The pale gold lines of the corner of the dress presents a kind of vicissitudes of life as if it had been washed by time. Her figure also gives people a fragile and beautiful feeling that seems to disappear at any time. Holding a small gold balance, she seemed to weigh something else instead of weight. It was my heart. Red Dragon Zaka is still in a state of palpitation when she recalls the emptiness of her heart at that moment. It's not a force that she can resist. The witch in white and with golden lines on the corner of her dress is absolutely impossible to be human, or even the thing of the world. The power of the golden balance she took out completely ignored the magic and physical resistance of Red Dragon Zaka, and took her heart directly. It's like karma or fate, a force that even Red Dragon Zaka can't fight. She saw all the following things. Red Dragon Zaka fell from the sky and her dragon roar wave disappeared. The irresistible Red Dragon Princess fell into a dying state and was finally rescued by Shi. That which can't be human. The magic they use doesn't belong to this world. The golden balance, I'm afraid, is the weapon of the gods. Red Dragon Zaka is afraid of the last inhuman gesture of the twin witches. Probably, only my sister, Black Dragon Zaka, could resist that attack. Black Dragon Zaka? Can she do it? After witnessing the secret skill of the twin witches, Shi has some guesses about the power. It's the power of the god witch, and Shi has been in contact with a fraction of this mysterious power before. This kind of power can really attract gods. The Golden Crow Princess was called to the world by them, by this secret skill. Yes, my sister, Black Dragon Zaka is the strongest Zaka. Even in the face of the real god, she can kill God. Red has absolute confidence in Black Dragon Zaka. The unborn Black Dragon Zaka is the ultimate trump card bred as a god killer. Her power is much more terrifying than the three sisters put together. What the original giant dragon mother gave her is the most powerful deicide god weapon. But I won't lose too much to my sister. My strength is overwhelming, and my dragon roar wave is the strongest of the four Zaka sisters, Red Dragon Zaka said proudly, which is the only thing she has absolute confidence in. Dragon roar wave. She also has to admit that her dragon roar wave is one of the most incomprehensible moves he has ever encountered. He can crack Red Dragon Zaka's dragon roar wave with the help of Red Dragon Zaka's own essence. Mobile natural disasters. The noble Red Dragon Princess. In addition to a little too innocent, as a dragon, she is absolutely in the superclass. To deal with the twin witches, we have to use stronger attack, faster speed, defeat them before they use that move. Looking back at the fight, Red Dragon Zaka quickly found the root of her fiasco. It's not about combat effectiveness, it's about the way of attack. Her dragon roar wave almost broke the twin witches' defense. If she can use a faster and stronger dragon roar wave, and it's better to match it with the defense penetration attribute, then she can defeat the twin witches before they perform that secret skill. Does she have that power? Not yet, but Shi has that power. Shi's sacred dragon roar wave ignores all defenses, gives Red Dragon Zaka a feeling that is not even under the heart-seizing skill of the twin witches. What she can't do alone is possible if she joins hands with Shi. The double dragon roar waves. They can use Shi's holy dragon roar wave to disintegrate the twin witches' defense, and then use her crimson dragon roar wave to kill them. This is a perfect match. Let's challenge the twin witches together. After finding a way to turn over the situation, Shi's proposal to act together and fight together immediately captured Red Dragon Zaka's heart. Yes, that's it. As long as two people are together, there is no invincible opponent. Sure enough, this is fate. When my sister, Desert Dragon Zaka, found her dream lover, she must have felt like this. Although he is no match for Desert Dragon Zaka's lover, at least he is strong enough. It is better to say that there is no more suitable human for her than he is. There won't be another human who can use Dragon Roar Wave. Start special training right now. In order to beat down the witches, our synchronization rate must be higher. What's more, your Dragon Roar Wave should become our strongest killing skill. When the time comes to solve the twin witches, it depends on the strength of our joint effort. She was defeated by Yunshi's Holy Dragon Roar Wave. Even if it was only 1 second, Red Dragon Zaka remembered it deeply. It was the first time that she met a stronger Dragon Roar Wave than herself. Our combination skill is called Holy Crimson Light. Red Dragon Zaka has even chosen the name of the combination skill of the two. It turns out that she likes such a shameful name. Yunshi looked at Red Dragon Zaka and couldn't bear to look directly at the name of the combination skill. The spiral light breaks through the sky, and the sacred crimson light covers the world. This is the verdict from the Red Dragon Queen. Red Dragon Zaka triumphantly raises Yunshi's hand and points to the sky. The huge magic energy is compressed into a laser and released. Dark red beams of light run through the clouds near the sun, shaking the sky. Look, the sky is burning, that's our proof of. Finally, Red Dragon Zaka's small face suddenly warmed up, and it seemed that she finally realized something was wrong with herself. What a happy and positive kid. She doesn't know what frustration is and always goes straight ahead. However, Yunshi didn't dislike her character. Rather say, he is also affected by her optimism. My attack is invincible. Break up. Nothing shall stand in my way. Even if it is the darkness of impermanence, I will break it for you. Learning from the tone of Red Dragon Zaka and recalling the time when he played with his childhood sweetheart when he was a child, Yunshi cooperated with Red Dragon Zaka with a smile. At that time, what did his childhood sweetheart say? Gold is the wealth of the gods, the golden princess is the child blessed by the gods, the gold of Rhine is her crown, and the sacred ring is the mark of the princess, offering the purest flowers for the dead gods. This is the speech of Ligh. White leaves are beautiful ornaments, golden branches are swaying scenery, and bloody flowers are dangerous and beautiful crystals. May the great tree open its branches and scatter its leaves. This is the statement of Phyllis. Steel stands on the earth, roar and turn into the sharp blade of God, the sharp claw of devil, shining the star sea. We advance, we win, we will bury all the old times. This is the claim of Ligh. Finally, Huahua's speech, even if everything is lost, the wings will still shine. Even if betrayed by all, the wings still fly. Only freedom is what we pursue, and our infinite won't be bound by anything. The highest wing will surpass everything. Well, in retrospect, at that time, the expressions of Millie, Phyllis, Ligh, and Huahua were a little strange. At that time, what did he say? Why don't you all be my wings? Isn't it good? Because the wings seem to be the strongest. At that time, he naturally felt that way. Now recalling it, it's really a shame. Wings? No way. Millie sighed, looking at Huahua with a slightly envious look. It's really hard to be wings. Phyllis wanted to say something, but in the end, she didn't say anything. I can't be wings, because, Ligh pouted and took the place in Yunshi's arms. There is a price to have wings. Huahua also showed a little helpless expression for some reason. It is a huge price. But it's worth it. Because only with wings can we create miracles. Let's make a miracle. Red Dragon Zaka holds Yunshi's hand, and the expression on her face is almost the same as Huahua's expression Yunshi saw at that time. Both of them are full of confidence, even if the opponent they are facing is fate. Behind her, there seems to be a pair of invisible wings, which can let her fly anywhere and anytime, above all rules. Yunshi felt the power flowing from Red Dragon Zaka's small hands and said his heart feelings. Maybe, you can really create miracles. Run. In the morning sun, Red Dragon Zaka and Yunshi run hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, in the empty desert at full speed. Unlike yesterday's run, which was completely dominated by Red Dragon Zaka, this time she was working with Yunshi's speed to slightly reduce her non-human explosive power. Compared with Red Dragon Zaka's unreasonable running speed, Yunshi's running has both the steadiness of the hard body and the elegant feeling of the soft body. Maybe it can't be compared with Red Dragon Zaka in simple speed, but it is better in turning skills and grasping the center of gravity. Yunshi is excellent, and this is what Red Dragon Zaka, who started trying to keep pace with Yunshi, discovered. That excellent does not mean physical fitness. No human can compare with the dragon in physical fitness. What's great about Yunshi is that he can move at anyone's pace. At first, Yunshi caught up with Red Dragon Zaka when she broke out in an unreasonable sprint. When Red Dragon Zaka began to try to cooperate with him, he began to guide Red Dragon Zaka's steps so that both of them could make full use of their advantages. After running together for about an hour, he guided Red Dragon Zaka to learn how to stop, turn, and even retreat at high speed. Because of her extraordinary physical fitness, Red Dragon Zaka has never thought that running alone has so many advanced skills, and never thought that one day she would be taught these seemingly ordinary but useful skills. It's really an excellent learning ability. Yunshi is very pleased to see that Red Dragon Zaka, who started to cooperate with him, learned these skills very fast. The Dragon Clan is indeed the ultimate creature. How could he know so many things? Red Dragon Zaka looks at Yunshi with unbelievable eyes. When she really puts down her prejudice and looks at him, she could discover that he has many secrets. The god weapon she saw only once when she was dying. The talent that can learn Dragon Roar Wave at a glance. And these running skills that she didn't even think about. He must be a monster amongst human beings, right? Well, let's start the rehearsal of the battle. It took about half a day for both of them to find the most suitable running rhythm. When sprinting in a straight line, with the help of Red Dragon Zaka's unreasonable explosive power, Yunshi will give the leading power to Red Dragon Zaka, and let her drive to run with him. For the jump that needs turning or complex steps, it is handed over to Yunshi. This kind of practice greatly deepened the tacit understanding between the two people. Later, as long as Yunshi's fingertips tremble, Red Dragon Zaka will know when to run and when to stop. Yunshi only needs to feel the look of Red Dragon Zaka, and he will take over the leading power and launch his multiple turning skills. Last night's intimate contact let the two people grow up, whether it is their relationship or synchronization rate. What kind of attack are you good at in your human posture? Yunshi asks Red Dragon Zaka. Claws, lunges, blows, and bites. Red Dragon Zaka answers without hesitation. This is really the answer to the character of Red Dragon. It is all the moves of tearing the opponent. Yunshi thinks about how to cooperate with Red Dragon Zaka. This is also a test of the skills he learned from Cassina the battle god. The hard body is in line with Red Dragon Zaka's appetite. Well, try it. Next, let's move in this way. Yunshi did not consider the result of teaching the secret of the hard body and began to teach Red Dragon Zaka the hard body's fighting skills. Humans also have good fighting skills. Red Dragon Zaka is very satisfied with the fighting style of the hard body. That's right. No matter what the situation is, her fighting style is just 2 words: critical strike. Red Dragon Zaka does not have the word defense in her dictionary, whether it is Dragon Claw, Dragon Roar, or Bite. The skills of the hard body is very situated for Red Dragon Zaka. This kind of fighting skill, which transcends the limits of human flesh and blood, is very suited with Red Dragon Zaka's taste. She learned the 3 secret skills of the Red Steel genre: lava breathing, lava skin, and red steel blood in an instant. Yunshi looked at Red Dragon Zaka, who learned the 3 secret skills in only a quarter of an hour. He couldn't help sighing for the masters of the Red Steel genre. The difference between humans and dragons is incomparable. The physical quality of the dragon is really foul. Good, my hands are burning. Red Dragon Zaka raises her arm, which shows the red lines representing the highest level of lava skin. This secret skill was originally used to simulate the talent of the giants, so that they can have strong skin that will not be hurt even if they go deep into the lava zone. It is the basic secret skill for the Red Steel genre to cultivate all the life. For Red Dragon Zaka, who is born to swim in lava, she learned this secret skill effortlessly and directly entered the highest level. With 3 perfect secret skills, the following culture is naturally completed in one go. Inflamed. What Yunshi exerts is a thunder explosion that compresses the force of chi and blood, while Red Dragon Zaka exerts a red flame explosion from the blood of the red dragon. Thunderbolt. She was not idle. Almost at the moment when Red Dragon Zaka released the Crimson Fireball, the thunderbolt that compressed the force of chi and blood also blew out. The power of the secret skill that the two people jointly perform is not as simple as 1 + 1, but is integrated with each other, and the power is increased to more than 10 times of the normal secret skill. Flaming Thunderbolt, this is the name of the first combined move developed by the two people. Good. Human skills are not bad. The move that satisfies Red Dragon Zaka is enough to prove the power of this combination skill. Maybe it's not as good as the lava breathing, but it costs less. She can blow out hundreds of flaming thunderbolt at once. The energy of the dragon is really foul. Seeing the effect of this secret skill, she also had to admire it. With the support of Red Dragon Zaka's essence, it turned into a common skill. Thunderbolt is a forbidden skill that can be released only after the huge force of chi and blood is extracted and compressed. However, the dragon people don't even have to blink their eyelids when they used this secret skill. The combination of the dragon's terrible body talent and various forbidden skills developed by human beings is more terrifying than she imagined. At the same time, she also found that even the same hard body will show different characteristics according to the individual's physical characteristics. For example, he compresses the chi and blood of the whole body to perform the thunderbolt, which has outstanding performance on penetration and destruction. However, Red Dragon Zaka compresses the chi and blood in the same way, but what she released was Flamebolt, which looks like a ball of lava. This is because the temperature of the blood flowing in Red Dragon Zaka's body is so high that the blow made by her must be fire-typed. She's Thunderbolt has the upper hand to penetrate the opponent's defense. In the case of range attack, Red Dragon Zaka's Flameblot has an overwhelming advantage. With the same sand dune as the target, and both sides attack at the same time, She's Thunderbolt will run through the sand dune as soon as possible, and then the residual force will explode inside the sand dune. Red Dragon Zaka's Flamebolt will evaporate the entire dune world, leaving only a piece of ground burned into crystals. If the two people perform the combination skill, it will be She's Thunderbolt ripped out a big hole first, and then Red Dragon Zaka's Flamebolt blows in, causing a mushroom cloud explosion 10 times more powerful than any other secret skills. Yeah. This power should be a threat to the twin witches. Red Dragon Zaka looked at the crater with complacency. You don't know what tired is. She extinguishes the electric light twined by his fingertips. The more he cultivates with Red Dragon Zaka, the more he can feel the adversity of the dragon's racial talent. For the Red Steel genre people who can't even perform one Thunderbolt attack, they can never imagine that a dragon can use 100 Flamebolt without feeling tired. Hundreds of large pits have been blasted out in the central area of the desert where the two people stood, and the deepest of which is more than 100 meters and the shallowest one is more than 10 meters. The continuous dune terrain was transformed into the lunar terrain by the two people. It looks like a meteor shower has fallen. Take a break and start practicing our ultimate combination skill. Red Dragon Zaka found that her synchronization rate with she was unusually high. There is almost no unfamiliar stage in the general sense, and they have a special tacit understanding when they use the combined skills. In the eyes of Red Dragon Zaka, the electric light wrapped around She's fingertips is a signal that he wants to release the power of Thunderbolt. In She's eyes, the proud look in Red Dragon Zaka's eyes is that she wants to shoot the Flamebolt. Both sides do not even need to communicate through language, and they naturally master the key to join hands. The two hearts have a connected understanding. This is probably the only way to describe the sense of synchronization between the two sides. Two people can get support from each other via the line of life. She gets a steady stream of essence from Red Dragon Zaka, which is the source of essence that can support his Thunderbolt. What Red Dragon Zaka has gained is the fighting experience and skills contained in She's Battle God Seed, the secret skills from the invincible and powerful Cassina. Under normal conditions, it is absolutely impossible for Red Dragon Zaka's essence or She's Battle God Seed to be shared. The gift left by LVJI is just such a flower that can create miracles. The existence of this flower not only connects the two people in the physical sense but also connects the two people from the perspective of life, becoming an inseparable part of both sides. This effect was not experienced when Red Dragon Zaka reluctantly resisted Yunshi. However, after she finally opened her heart and body to Yunshi last night, it immediately showed the magic effect. Running, jumping, turning, sometimes clasping fingers, sometimes clenching hands. Everything let Red Dragon Zaka feel her strength began to grow. Even the instinct of turning into a real red dragon, which had been suppressed by the green flower, began to loosen gradually. Control, this is a problem that Red Dragon Zaka has always paid little attention to. For the Red Dragon Princess with extraordinary talent, since she can destroy the world in 5 minutes, what kind of control is needed? No matter what the enemy is, release the Crimson Dragon Roar Wave to sweep is already enough. The area covered by the Dragon Roar Wave is her absolute home. Before meeting the Twin Witches, she even felt that as long as she released the Dragon Roar Wave, she was absolutely invincible. After the battle with the Twin Witches, she realized for the first time that she was not without weaknesses. She was too dependent on Dragon Roar Wave. Once the strength of Dragon Roar Wave was restrained, she would be at a great disadvantage. The thinking loop of normal people is probably to learn from each other's strong points to make up for their own shortcomings. Red Dragon Zaka's thinking loop is, since the current Dragon Roar Wave is not strong enough, I should cultivate a stronger Dragon Roar Wave. Instead of thinking about what the enemy's magic is and what kind of negative effects it will bring, she only thinks about how to defeat the enemy with greater and stronger power. It's very simple, but it's very practical. Sometimes human beings just think too much and always want to defeat the strong with the weak, find out the weakness of the enemy and make use of it, so as to realize the reversal. Red Dragon Zaka doesn't think about these things. If the enemy is strong, then she must become stronger than the enemy. This is the fighting theory of Red Dragon Zaka. Yunshi is exactly what she found to be the most suitable human being to realize this theory. Because she has proved it. As long as she is with Yunshi, she will become more powerful. Yunshi has what she lacks, which can make her more powerful. Sitting on Yunshi's lap, Red Dragon Zaka smiles at the tired teenager. The sun is a little closer to the western horizon. The sunset reflected on the Red Dragon Princess's pretty face, reflecting a light luster. As bright as sunset glow, as soft as silk, the boy and the girl in the desert gaze at each other quietly, looking at the scenery reflected in the pupils. What do you want after conquering the world? Although there is no promise, no oath, but the Red Dragon Princess has begun to imagine their future. As long as two people together, there won't be opponents they can't defeat. As long as we are together, no matter where we are, it will be a happy paradise. Red Dragon Zaka even has a wonderful idea. If she doesn't think about the mission of the Great Mother, they together may make the world a better place. World peace. Yunshi sighed and said his extravagantly desire. Wow, what a strange wish. On this day, all the creatures in the desert were in a state of panic. One giant scorpion after another, which live on the edge of the desert and only climb out of their nests at night, flee from their habitat in a panic before dawn and rush towards the edge of the desert. Scorpions, large and small, fled to the desert periphery in a panic. These powerful hero-ranked demons seem to have sensed the coming of some kind of disaster, and they have gone mad. Soon after, the ground began to rumble and vibrate. Sandworms, who appeared in the field of Desert Dragon Zaka, the underground overlords who caused great trouble to the Starwings Knights, also appeared. These monsters are not different from the scorpions who love to live near the desert. A rare group of them rushed out of the desert and fled to the desert periphery. Soon after the giant scorpions and the overlord sandworms escaped, there was an army of more small and medium-sized demons. Basically, all the creatures living in the desert began to migrate. Finally, there were even figures of human desert tribes. They did not have the keen perception of the magical creatures in the desert, but when they saw the army of demons running away, everyone knew that things were wrong. It was two people in the middle of the desert who caused all this. It's all your fault. I almost overslept. Red Dragon Zaka, whose hair is still moist, has just taken a bath, and her snow-white skin is still flushed. She complains about Yunshi, who made her unable to sleep well last night. Wasn't it you who did, last night, Looking at the face of Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi showed a helpless expression. Obviously, it was she who suddenly hugged him, and then licked him and finally made the situation out of control. It's all your fault, it's the root of human nature. Red Dragon Zaka has her hands on her hips. It is absolutely impossible for her to do that. She has no memory of that kind of thing. If I refuse to, cough, don't remember, of course, it doesn't exist. When she came to her senses, Yunshi had already done this thing and that thing to her, which she was so ashamed to remember. Up to now, there is a taste in her mouth. The taste of Yunshi. Okay, I see. It's all my fault. At this time, Yunshi deeply felt the inequality between men and women, as well as the great difference in sensibility and rationality between the two sides. With such a red dragon princess who always loves to attack at night, he can't sleep well in the future. But he couldn't even escape. He couldn't watch Red Dragon Zaka die. Yes, it's your fault. So, come and cooperate with me. Tie up her long hair, and Red Dragon Zaka looks triumphant. It's not bad to have such a sweet morning. The ultimate skill is a move that requires us to work as one and have the most perfect cooperation. I will fully cooperate with you, and you should fully cooperate with me, just treat us as one person. Stepping on the high heels, Red Dragon Zaka tries to stand on her tiptoes, trying to stand at the same height as Yunshi. Of course, she failed. She ground her teeth and began to regret why her height was so short that even the high heels can't save her. I see. Looking at her, Yunshi's heart is melting, quietly lowering his body. Yes, that's it. Imagine. Red Dragon Zaka hits Yunshi's forehead and falls into a strange state. Yunshi can feel at that moment, Red Dragon Zaka is totally open to him, without any precautions. If he wanted to, now even pull out the star wings and give her a fatal blow, she would not have any ability to fight back. What an innocent child. Yunshi sighed. For 2 days and 2 nights, he had known everything about her body. The shyness of kissing, the trembling of being touched, the smoothness of skin, and the passion of licking him. She is a proud red dragon princess, but when she opens her heart, she becomes a sweet, soft, and lovely dessert. Sometimes he would think, if Hua Hua was raised by a princess since childhood, would she be the same as Red Dragon Zaka? She loves to show off, and seems very difficult to approach, but as long as you really understand her, you will know that she is very afraid of loneliness, very want to be accompanied. Once you get her heart, you will get her everything. Imagine that we are no longer 2 people, but 1. Our will can change everything. Even if we are enemies of the world, we will not be separated. Let the enemy see our strongest ultimate skill. Red Dragon Zaka, clinging to Yunshi's forehead, is full of self-confidence and full of love. Maybe only she doesn't realize this. Is this ultimate skill to use force to hit the opponent, or to make the opponent envious and jealous to psychological disorder? Yunshi, with Red Dragon Zaka's fingers clasped, suddenly had such an idea. The silver spiral began to appear in Yunshi's imagination. This time, with the full support of Red Dragon Zaka, he saw it more clearly and seriously. The first line appears. The silver-white line extends from a point, but it is not a straight line, but moves backward in a fixed track, making a uniform circular motion. So is the second, third, and fourth line that follows. With a point as the tip, the 4 spiral lines continue to accelerate, and then accelerate, finally showing an incredible aesthetic feeling. It's a structure that keeps moving forward and spinning, like the truth of the world. Then a red ball appears, which is the Dragon Roar wave core from Red Dragon Zaka. The sacred crimson light, the Dragon Roar wave that never appeared before, began to take shape. Yunshi never thought about what it would be like to mix 2 different dragon rock waves together. Red Dragon Zaka has never thought about the possibility too. In the history of the dragon race, there has never been such a mixed form of Dragon Roar wave, because the essence of Dragon Roar wave is the embodiment of dragon spirit. How can a giant dragon have 2 life essence? Postures. To transform the Dragon Roar wave of 2 people into a combination skill is simply the whim of Red Dragon Zaka, which does not have any theoretical basis. Even if it was twin dragons, their Dragon Roar waves will definitely interfere with each other if they try to perform this. There is no coexistence in this field. But now Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka did it. Because, for both of them, miracles really exist. The green flower called Miracle comes from beyond the world, and will become the highest wing. It connects Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka's life and connects the essence of Red Dragon Zaka into Yunshi's body. Yunshi displays the holy dragon raw wave that should not be used by human beings according to the unknown dragon mark in his body. Due to the same source of life essence and the special relationship between Red Dragon Zaka and Yunshi, the holy dragon raw wave does not exclude Red Dragon Zaka's dragon raw wave, but is truly and perfectly integrated. Tick. The silver-white dot first appeared under the two people's feet, like a drop of water breaking the horizontal line. The next second, this drop of silver and white water will run through the earth, so that the desert under the two people's feet completely collapsed. Looking from the sky, the silver and white dot is so tiny that it seems that the earth under their feet suddenly disappears. This is not the collapse of gravel, but the breakdown of things at higher latitudes. Centered on the point, the fiery crimson dragon raw wave diffused at an extraordinary speed, 10 times, no, 100 times faster than the normal speed. In just 5 seconds, half of the desert area, about 1/10 of the size of the human continent, was covered and swallowed up by this crimson spiral light. The engulfed part looks like a beautiful red gem, showing a brilliant and magnificent color. One line after another, representing the string of the world, loomed in this spiral light, and dyed the land a deep red. This is, Yunshi opened his eyes wide and looked at the red ocean under his feet in amazement. The red gem is just the outline seen from the sky. What really spreads out under the feet of the two people is a real ocean. There is only one color of red, covering all things, swallowing everything, and dyeing everything with a deep red color. The sacred crimson light, the product of the double dragon raw wave, caused 1/10 of the mainland's destruction in just 5 seconds. This is only the beginning stage. The real power of the holy crimson light is probably 10 times stronger than the power. Ha ha ha. Sure enough, that's right. We can definitely win the twin witches with this ultimate skill. Red Dragon Zaka holds Yunshi's hand tightly and looks triumphantly at the red ocean under her feet. It has the Defiance defense of Holy Dragon Raw Wave and the increasing effect of Crimson Dragon Raw Wave at the same time. It's incredible that even though she's still in human posture, the total amount of essence is far less than the dragon's real posture, but she can use Dragon Raw Wave more than 10 times stronger than when she is in the real posture. Sure enough, this is fate. As long as she is with him, no one is a match for them. Even the strongest of the 4 Zaka sisters, Black Dragon Zaka, did not have this terrible power. Moreover, after completing this combination skill together, Red Dragon Zaka can feel that the strength that has been holding her back is disappearing. Well, we're going to find the twin witches. Feeling the sudden heat flow in her body, Red Dragon Zaka can't wait to revenge the twin witches. Come on, get ready to ride me. Raising her proud head, Red Dragon Zaka looks confidently at Yunshi. You are the only human who can dance with Red Dragon Princess in the sky. Why, are you? Yunshi looks at Red Dragon Zaka and felt her louder and louder heartbeat. Yes, I'm back. Red Dragon Zaka grabs Yunshi's body and jumps into the sky. The countless red spirits on the ground flowing to the sky rise towards the body of Red Dragon Zaka and begin to construct the outline of a huge object. Once again, the dragon dancing in the sky. It is about 30 meters tall with gemstone-like scales and sharp dragon horns. The streamlined body gives people a sense of artistry. The vertical pupil burns endless flames. Red Dragon Zaka's true body. Yunshi sits in the middle of her wings and deploys a flame shield that can block out foreign attacks. If this appearance appears in the Western God's domain, he will surely be regarded as a Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight is one of the top ranks recognized by God's domains in the West. It is the lifelong dream of all Dragon Knights to have a giant dragon as powerful, beautiful, and elegant as Red Dragon Zaka. Most of the Dragon Knights can only find a ground dragon or a bipedal flying dragon as their mount during their whole life. He who can have a male fire dragon as a mount can boast for a lifetime. Even the inferior subspecies, such as Pterodactyl, is not easy to acknowledge allegiance to human beings. In order to get a dragon mount, Even a hero-ranked Dragon Knight has to take care of the baby pterodactyl more carefully than taking care of his own children. As for the real dragon, the possibility of becoming a Dragon Knight's mount is almost zero. Basically, it will only appear in the dream of these Dragon Knights. In terms of the number of registered Dragon Knights, about every 100 years, there will be a lucky person who will be recognized by the dragon for some reason. How tall? How far away? Yunshi sat on the back of Red Dragon Zaka, looking at the earth under his feet, deeply felt the so-called high above everything. It's really too high. It's tens of thousands of meters away from the ground. From this point of view, the outline of the land can be clearly seen. The desert area alone accounts for about a third of the continent, while the snow-covered ice sheet area seems to be larger. These are harsh areas not suitable for human habitation, and there are not many traces of civilization. Only in the area with a large number of oases on the edge of the desert, Yunshi vaguely saw some dome tents. On the contrary, the east of the last human kingdom presents a delta terrain with dense rivers, while the south has many forests. The two parts together constitute the territory of the ancient kingdom of Assyria, the only prosperous civilization in the world. And all this, in the eyes of the dragon flying in the sky, are insignificant. The dragon race, a race born with the power of the world, is the ultimate creature at the top of the pyramid of all food chains. They are born with huge magic power and impregnable body. A giant dragon alone has the power to conquer a continent. If it wasn't for Yunshi and his Starwings Knights, maybe Desert Dragon Zaka had completed the mission of conquering the world. Looking down on the earth from tens of thousands of meters above, human beings are not even larger than ants. It is no wonder that dragon people do not communicate with human beings, just as human beings do not specially observe the ecology, society, and civilization of ants. In essence, the dragon race is a super creature above human beings. Well, it's interesting. The world, for us, is too small. Red Dragon Zaka makes a loud noise. It's the real sound of the dragon. Mortals will lose consciousness and faint when they even hear it at close range. Well, it's a little small indeed. Yunshi estimated that the area covered by the sacred crimson light created by them, and found half of the desert has been dyed red. In the ocean of red crimson light, all living things are swallowed up, and then assimilated by Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Roar Wave and become a part of her Dragon Roar Wave. It was only when she absorbed such a huge amount of energy that she released her bondage and regained the power to restore the dragon's posture. Of course, it's also because her relationship with Yunshi is developing rapidly, but Yunshi doesn't know it. Come on, fly with me. Red Dragon Zaka, with Yunshi in the sky, makes a vicious turn and starts a difficult aerial maneuver. She did not forget how she was tossed by Yunshi last night. Now they are in the air, and she dominates the high-altitude field. How can she not return the treatment 10 times to him? Boom, boom, boom. First of all, a series of rolling let Yunshi have a good experience of what is a drum washing machine and what is an infinite 360-degree loop. Ha ha. She makes a sharp whistling sound and dives from a height of 10,000 meters to only a few meters away from the ground. Yunshi can smell the smell of sand. And then she's up and up again, and that's what Red Dragon Zaka is good at. Several sandworms, who had hardly reached the edge of the desert and stretched out their heads to breathe freely, were so frightened by Red Dragon Zaka that they had a cardiac spasm. Their bile vomited out and were half dead. A large number of giant scorpions are foaming one by one at the mouth. There's no way. The power of the dragon is really killing. Well, cough. Zaka, it's too fast. Yunshi, who has never ridden a dragon in his life, thought that all the dragon knights had to have a full point of anti-dizziness ability. He didn't realize that this was pure revenge of Red Dragon Zaka. Yes, that's it. It's a revenge for you to do such a shameful thing to me last night. The princess's revenge will never wait for tomorrow. No, it's not full speed yet. Red Dragon Zaka felt for the first time that flying was so happy and comfortable. Sure enough, abusing Rookie is the happiest thing. Before this guy has adapted to the flying mode of the dragon, he must be well abused. Well, that's the way of her love. She can't beat Yunshi, and at least she can make trouble with him, day or night. Red Dragon Zaka, flying faster and higher. As a result, the desert demons who managed to escape the sacred crimson light ushered in a nightmare-like day. Hiss-ha! Together, these creatures with keen intuition and powerful strength hold their heads one by one, drill into the ground and shiver under the pressure of the dragon. Yun-shi, riding on Red Dragon Zaka's body, turns from the roller washing machine over and over again, and then experiences what a real free-fall is. Several times, he saw that the ground was so close that he seemed to be able to reach out and grab a handful of sand. As for those desert scorpions foaming at their mouths, he automatically ignored them. Ah ha 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 ha. Red Dragon Zaka grabs a sandworm that seems to be struggling with its own claws. The sandworm, which is hundreds of meters long and has the power to move mountains, is no different from an earthworm in Red Dragon Zaka's claws, and instantly falls into a dead state. After a flash, a yellow gem appeared in Red Dragon Zaka's claws, which was thrown behind her and fell into Yun-shi's palm. The magic color stone of the Millennium Sandworm can be made into beautiful jewels. It's my sister Desert Dragon Zaka's favorite decoration. There are many of them in my nest. Unfortunately, my sister will not come back. Flying in the sky, Red Dragon Zaka is a little bit sad, telling the story of her past. She, perhaps, will come back. Yun-shi's expression is strange. Does Desert Dragon Zaka like gems? Well, it seems that it's true. When she and Ice Dragon Zaka are free, they both like to go to the treasure house of the royal city to have a big sleep. Both of them don't wear clothes and so their skin close to all kinds of gems. Desert Dragon Zaka likes warm yellow gems, while Ice Dragon Zaka prefers cold blue gems. If it's Red Dragon Zaka, there's no doubt that she likes bright red ruby. Forward. Red Dragon Zaka makes a joyful sound, carrying Yun-shi to the south of this continent. With Red Dragon Zaka as his mount, Yun-shi easily broke through countless mountains, rivers, and swamps, and soon went from the deserted desert to the forest area full of lush forests. This is the territory of those damned twin witches. Well, do you want me to blow them out and have a big fight? Red Dragon Zaka is eager to try. With the most powerful combination skill, the Holy Crimson Light as the trump card, now Red Dragon Zaka is even daring to fight heaven. Oh wait, I want to get your heart back from the twin witches. Yun-shi shook his head. Of course, there is more than one reason, but he is sure that the heart of Red Dragon Zaka is still in the hands of the twin witches, so it is not a lie. Well, under Yun-shi, Red Dragon Zaka's eyes flashed shyness. He is worrying about me. The giant dragon's huge body turns into a red flame, and falls rapidly from an altitude of 10,000 meters to a mountain peak. Red Dragon Zaka changes back to her human posture. Her high-heeled shoes are stepping on the ice and snow on the top of the mountain. They look at the vast southern land together. Different from the last country of mankind, the south is full of forests and swamps, showing a typical tropical climate. The civilization level of human beings living here is far lower than that of the kingdom, which still retains the state system. It is a loose alliance system dominated by tribes. The only ones who can give orders to all the tribal chiefs are the witches who are said to have the blood of the ancient kingdom of Assyria, and this generation of witches is undoubtedly the strongest one in all generations. They are even more powerful than Red Dragon Zaka. There, it should be the Palace of the Witches. Red Dragon Zaka refers to a tower in the middle of the southern forest region. It is the most conspicuous human building in the whole southern forest world, with an incredible height of 300 meters. Even in the heyday of the Assyria kingdom, it was a miracle-like huge building. After the collapse of the Assyria dynasty, the descendants of a royal family retreated to the tower, which was originally just the border area of the dynasty. On this basis, the ancient civilization of Assyria was preserved, and a unique witch system was formed. The Witches' Palace is the last pillar of the southern civilization and the holy land of those tribes. The holy witches are the spiritual totems on this barren land, and they are known as the leaders of the children of God. These are all the materials Yun-shi read from the library of the palace, but there are very few connections between witches and the last kingdom of mankind. This is also a very natural thing. After the collapse of the Assyria dynasty, there was a huge gap in civilization. There was no direct connection between the last state of human protection and the territory of the southern witches. At a time when the number of human beings is greatly reduced, countless mountains, rivers, swamps and demons inhabiting the land between the two human settlements have completely blocked the communication between the kingdom and the tribal areas. Except for a few hero-ranked strong people, no team can pass through these areas. On the contrary, the tribes living in the desert have contacts with the Guardian Kingdom. As for the northern ice sheet area, even in the heyday of the Assyria dynasty, it was a rarely visited place, and there was no trace of human civilization. Just like the Forgotten Ruins, human beings in this continent have long declined. Without witches and kings, it's probably the fire of civilization would have been extinguished. Do the twin witches live in that tower? Yunshi looked at the 300-meter-high spire, feeling an unusual smell from it. It is a taste that seems to be out of place with the world, just like the only torch in the dark and ignorant world. Strange, is that tower getting higher again? Red Dragon Zaka is staring at the witch's tower. When she attacked it 3 days ago, it was not that high. This tower, Yunshi has a similar feeling. The more he looks at the tower, the more familiar he feels. It seems that it is not the first time he has seen such a high spire. This kind of ethereal, sacred building with some ancient and vicissitudes is not the style of White Lotus Sword domain at all, but more like the masterpiece of the gods' domains in the West. In particular, the sword shape tearing the sky and the sharp outline emerging in the dark give Yunshi a very familiar flavor. The color is different too. Red Dragon Zaka looked at the tower that had changed in 3 days. When she came last time, the tower was white. How now the sacred white tower has become black? The Black Tower, Yunshi remembered that he had actually seen this shaped tower. However, the tower in his memory was dilapidated, and even the top of the tower was torn by some force, so he didn't recognize it for the first time. In the trial world, the Dark Tower of Fire. The tower that lights the fire of hope and the last light of hope in the dark world. White Lotus bound to the cross. Red Lotus incarnated to be a flame giant to protect White Lotus. It was the most tragic trial he had ever experienced, and it was also the trial with the most deaths. Do they remember the thing happened there? I have a bad feeling. Red Dragon Zaka looked around and found that all the breath of life became weak after entering the range of the tower. There is no taste of human. 3 days ago, there were still many mortals, but now they all disappeared without a trace. Only the tall tower, standing on the southern land, seems to be waiting for something. There was no sound of birds. There was no animal running. Even the sound of fish swimming in the water disappeared. Between heaven and earth, only silence remains. Me too. From just now on, Yunshi felt that the lifeline connecting with Red Dragon Zaka was constantly releasing some dangerous breath. Far away in the middle of the continent, in the nest of the original dragon. With a flash of green light, the last egg that had not hatched was forcibly cut by the green light blade on the head of the original dragon. Endless black comes from the broken eggs. As if it's connecting to an endless abyss, the last black eggs hatched out, full of the sense of despair and madness. These black materials, in turn, even enveloped the sleeping original dragon, and then dyed the green original dragon black. Hiss, the original dragon that has been falling into sleep for too long slowly opened her eyes. It was a pair of black eyes full of nothingness. There was no other color in the vertical pupil, just dark. Boom. With the awakening of the original dragon, the whole nest began to collapse, and countless chains began to break one by one. The forgotten ruins surrounding the original dragon was like dominoes that had been pushed down, completely smashed. I'm black. It seems that it's not used to the body. The black dragon raises its claws and falls heavily. Endless black leaked from the position of the dragon's claw and began to penetrate into the earth, lakes, and rivers. Forests, human beings, and animals are all engulfed by this irresistible black matter, and the whole world begins to fall into eternal darkness. That's power of the last awakening Zaka, the power of Black Dragon Zaka. Compared with the Crimson Dragon Raw Wave, this black material has more terrifying and frightening characteristics. It's the power to invade the world and then devour it. Even the gods it can eat. It's the greatest disaster. Black dragon Zaka is such an ominous thing. It was hatched by the original dragon only after all the first 3 Zaka failed. It's like a Pandora's box that can't be opened. Darkness is coming, the end of the world is coming. In the Witch Tower, White Lotus looks at the waves spreading in the middle of the distant continent and holds her sister's hand. Ready, sister? I can't help it. Try it. Red Lotus closes her eyes and sings with White Lotus. I wander in the dark. I once dreamed that in the whispering voice that no one heard. Now, I finally see the way ahead. At least at this moment, let me open my arms for you. Unfulfilled wishes, trampled wings, bow their heads in the dark, just waiting for your arrival. The shadow of tears, the shadow of the moon, overflows my palm, and my lips tremble in the dark. Come and find me, look at me, treat me as the first princess in the world, my prince. I don't regret falling in love with you, even if I'm covered with scars. As long as you are by my side and share the time with me, darkness and sadness can also become warm. Whirling thoughts cast the ring of stars and moon for you and witness our eternal love. Our love will turn into light, light up the darkness and become immortal. The sun, the moon, and the stars never part. White brilliance, it is the symbol of the girl's innocence. Red brilliance, it is the symbol of girl's enthusiasm. Red and white brilliance. That is to light the torch of the last hope in the dark. In the endless darkness, this tower standing in the south has become the last stronghold of the fire of civilization, and also the tower of hope cast by the twin witches to save the world. As the stars fall, the tower absorbs all the last hopes of the world but also attracts the eyes of the doomsday dragon who has devoured almost the whole world. Prince, come to the tower. Prepare to fight with us against all the darkness of the world. The voices of White Lotus and Red Lotus appear in Yun Shi's ears together, calling the last person to link the first fire in the world. Only he can be the last hope of the world against the awakening doomsday dragon. Yeah, is this the power of my sister? Red Dragon Zaka looks at the wave of darkness sweeping towards her at a loss. She clearly felt the breath of Zaka in it, but it was a breath that she was totally unfamiliar with and could not understand. It's totally different from her sisters, Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka, and her own. What's the matter with this ferocious dark breath? Is the youngest sister, Black Dragon Zaka, born? But why is Black Dragon Zaka so hostile to her? It's clear that she and her sister are in the same camp. She's still alive. Let's go. Yun Shi takes Red Dragon Zaka, who doesn't know what happened, and takes the lead to rush into the witch's tower. Boom. The black wave has covered the whole world, is heavy bombarding on the tower, so that the tower of hundreds of meters high is shaking violently, as if the next second it will collapse. The black dragon's claw, accompanied by endless black waves, is an unimaginable claw. The tower of hundreds of meters tall is like a child's toy in front of her. The black doomsday dragon has been born, its body is the world, its eyes are the eyes of the world, it has devoured almost all parts of the world, only the last witch tower is still resisting the invasion of darkness. It was like a candle that seemed to go out at any time in the endless darkness. In the endless wave of darkness, the huge objects that can't be witnessed with human eyes surround the tower, and then release more dark substances, which rush towards the last hope of mankind. Red and white light interlaced, absorbed all these dark substances into the tower. The last battle of the world has begun. Yun Shi and Red Dragon Zaka rushed into the tower, and surprised to find that the tower is not the scenery they saw outside at all. Pansy, forget-me-not, rubia, clover, it is the tower, but it seems to contain all the flowers of the garden. All kinds of flowers are blooming in this garden. The 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn and winter do not seem to exist in this garden at all. To the top. This is the voice of White Lotus. If you don't come, you'll die. This is the voice of Red Lotus. The next second, countless sand fell, and the black sand gave Yun Shi the same feeling as the dark waves outside, forming the outline of a huge monster. Sandy brown scales, 4 trachomas floating around, and that kind of wild and aggressive momentum. Sister. Red Dragon Zaka was surprised to see the dragon wrapped in the dark. There is no doubt that this is the eldest sister of the 4 Zaka sisters, Desert Dragon Zaka. However, when Yunshi looks at the murderous Desert Dragon Zaka, cold sweat covered his forehead. No, something's not right. This was not the Desert Dragon Zaka he knew, this was not the third royal consort he had welcomed into marriage. Again, definitely not the Zaka that Red Dragon Zaka knew, the one who cared for her sister and even doted on her. Wrapped in dark matter, Desert Dragon Zaka emitted a surprisingly murderous aura throughout her body, and aimed directly at Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Targeting, locking, Desert Dragon Zaka shook her massive dragon head somewhat uncomfortably, and with a flash of green light, locked onto Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka's body. Both Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, who were locked by the green light, had black lines appear on their heads, like some sort of curse. Death to all betrayers, darkness, Zaka. After letting out an earth-shattering dragon roar to the sky, the eyes of the Desert Dragon Zaka that was entangled in the dark matter were only filled with wild killing intent. Her 4 dragon claws stomped on the earth, and all the sand eyes were all suspended vertically, exactly the war mode that unfolded during the first city attack from Desert Dragon Zaka. Sister, calm down, what's wrong with you? Seeing her sister Desert Dragon Zaka, who was supposed to be dead, again, Red Dragon Zaka was actually very happy. Just why would my sister see me as an enemy and go into war mode without even communicating? Be careful, that's not the sister you're familiar with anymore. Yunshi knew everything from her toes to the arc of her chest. Yunshi realized that Desert Dragon Zaka was unusual at the moment. That Desert Dragon Zaka he knows had never been so ferocious and violent. What happened next also verified Yunshi's intuition. Desert Dragon Zaka simply ignored Red Dragon Zaka's shout and unleashed her desert field directly. The garden beneath her feet was covered in a searing storm of hot sand as one giant venomous scorpion after another burrowed out of the desert field, and all covered in black, going into the crazy mode as Desert Dragon Zaka. These giant venomous scorpions all raised their tails and then shot their venom towards Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. It was Yunshi who was the first to respond compared to the overwhelmed Red Dragon Zaka. A crimson shield was deployed. It was a shield of flame with a temperature of tens of thousands of degrees, a shield of lava. The green venom blasted against the lava shield with a snort sound, and was then vaporized into green poisonous smoke. Pay attention to the underground. Yunshi grabbed Red Dragon Zaka's small hand and quickly jumped up. Rumble. The ground caved in violently, and the 100-meter-long sandworm burrowed out of the ground, biting down on where Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka had once been a second before. Layers of jagged teeth cutting continuously and making a chilling chewing sound. Why is my sister out of control? Red Dragon Zaka's body trembled as she felt Desert Dragon Zaka's undisguised murderous aura. Her memories of her eldest sister Desert Dragon Zaka had always been cheerful, generous, and with a free-spirited wildness, fulfilling the mission of conquering the world step by step. And she has found the perfect love of her own. She is a total winner in the eyes of the still young Red Dragon Zaka. How did such a sister become what she is now? The dark substance wrapped around her body, what is it? We can talk about it later. Yunshi had a very bad feeling as he looked at the darkness that was wrapped around the giant poisonous scorpion, the sandworm, and Desert Dragon Zaka. Does it seem that this is coming to an end? The darkness dominated by Desert Dragon Zaka defies common sense. Yes, that's the only way to do it. After sobering up, Red Dragon Zaka chose to believe Yunshi. The only way to understand what really happened is to defeat her sister. Begin synchronization. Yunshi took Red Dragon Zaka's hand as the spirit began to immerse itself into that silent world. Synchronization begins. Red Dragon Zaka's ruber-like eyes began to become as calm and unmoving as if they were sunken underwater. Two people, from now on, are one. Holding hands, the world the two see is their stage. Seeing how close Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka were, Desert Dragon Zaka, who was already covered in dark matter, was at full rage. 4 sand eyes, shooting out dark red rays almost at the same time, aimed at the pair holding hands in midair. Synchronization complete. Yunshi held up his right hand and extended 2 fingers. Synchronization complete. Red Dragon Zaka similarly raised her right hand and held out 2 fingers. The power of the whole body's chi and blood compress. Thunder burst. Inferno. Flashes of lightning, as well as searing fire, intersected and instantly blasted Desert Dragon Zaka's massive head. Boom. Desert Dragon Zaka's huge body was blasted back tens of meters, and that wasn't the end of it. Kick. The 2 who had flipped in the air to avoid Sand Eyes simultaneously executed a downward kick that landed solidly on Desert Dragon Zaka's dragon head, where had just been blown up. Ow wow. Desert Dragon Zaka let out a roar and shook her head hard, knocking the pair of damn enemies out of the way. However, while hitting Yun Shi and Red Dragon Zaka, the ring of dark red lava shield suddenly exploded. Sorry, sister. Red Dragon Zaka seized the moment and built up strength with Yun Shi. Crimson Dragon claws slapped hard on Desert Dragon Zaka's head. Why the head again? Desert Dragon Zaka woefully shielded her head with her claws. Yun Shi, on the other hand, caught the opportunity and used his charging skill, Soft Water Palm. The dragon's claws are unstoppable solid. And the Soft Water Palm is indefensible soft. Desert Dragon Zaka blocked Red Dragon Zaka's violent dragon claws, but failed to block Yun Shi's Soft Water Palm's penetration attack. Once again, Desert Dragon Zaka's head suffered a heavy blow. Gah, oh, let out a sad sound. Desert Dragon Zaka got her head thrashed once again. Only, the attack had cleared her consciousness a little and dispelled much of the darkness that had been covering her body. The Desert Dragon Zaka, who had suffered consecutive blows to the head, looked around with confused eyes and gave a silly look of who am I, where is this, what am I doing? Sister. Red Dragon Zaka looked at the confused Desert Dragon Zaka with delight. Tiahoy. Desert Dragon Zaka shook her head, 3 different memories warring in her consciousness. In the first memory, she was a child of the great original dragon, Desert Dragon Zaka, who was on a plan to conquer the world and was just a step away from conquering the world. Well, that last little step is a breeze once she finds her lover, Shaheen, and joins forces with him after she marries him. This memory is very real, it shouldn't be fake. In the second memory, she was the king of the Western Desert, the lone and beautiful Desert Dragon Zaka, who accidentally fell in love with the prince of the human kingdom and married him. The skin-to-skin on the wedding night, the luxury of bathing in precious stones, all kinds of hot and sweet memories. Even the temperature of his fingers was so vivid, there was no way this memory could be wrong. The last memory is of a deep, bottomless darkness, and a throbbing from the depths of her blood that enraged her and made her go berserk, eventually transforming into the Black Desert Dragon Zaka. Again, this memory is not false, it is an instinct from the dragon's bloodline. So, here's the question, how can 3 memories contradict each other when they're all true? Which one of her memories was wrong, anyway? Sister, come to your senses. Red Dragon Zaka shouted loudly. Sister, is this child my sister? The scent of fire, the exact same face as her own, she should be third sister, the red one. The first memory had her in it, she was her sister. But why, when she looked at her and Yun Shi holding hands, closer than anyone else, she was so angry as if her most precious thing had been taken away. The memory of my sister belongs to the first memory. The memory of being sweet with the prince belongs to the second memory. This uncontrollable rage belongs to the third memory. Totally confused. What are you, to me? Desert Dragon Zaka clutched her head and stared angrily at Yun Shi. I am yours. Yun Shi showed a somewhat guilty expression, but before he could finish his sentence, Desert Dragon Zaka's body was already covered with the dark matter once again and went into a raging rampage mode. You deserve to die. No good, sister is out of control again. Red Dragon Zaka exclaimed as she looked at Desert Dragon Zaka, who raised her dragon claws, while not forgetting to give her sister a wake-up dragon claw hit. Desert Dragon Zaka, whose head had been slapped once again, opened her large mouth and violently ejected black dragon breath with the scent of death. That was definitely not Desert Dragon Zaka's own dragon breath, hers was a spurt similar to a hot sandstorm, whereas this was a black corrosive substance. The gravel that was stained by this dark substance turned a horrible black. This power, could it be Red Dragon Zaka was reluctant to accept the result, but she couldn't find any other explanation than that one. With such a powerful, even Zaka can't resist, Yunshi, who was now almost psychically connected to Red Dragon Zaka, made the same judgment. The strongest dragon. With a bitter voice, Red Dragon Zaka spoke the name of the culprit that was wrapped around Desert Dragon Zaka's body at this moment. The fourth Zaka, Black Dragon Zaka. Yunshi once again feels the terror of the four Zaka sisters, and the appearance of the fourth dragon, Black Dragon Zaka, announces the fall of the world straight away. Even her sister, Desert Dragon Zaka, was dominated and sent out to hunt him and Red Dragon Zaka. I don't believe it, my sister can't be that heartless. There was a hazy mist in Red Dragon Zaka's eyes. Of the four Zaka sisters, the youngest sister Black Dragon Zaka is the most silent and wordless, almost never making a sound in the four Zaka sisters' interactions. Compared to Desert Dragon Zaka, the nagging older sister, Ice Dragon Zaka, the slightly meaner second sister, and Red Dragon Zaka, who loves to listen to her sister's stories and fantasize about how she will fight alongside her sisters when she hatches, Black Dragon Zaka is always the quiet one. Black Dragon Zaka is always the quietest listener. The sister she remembered was supposed to be the quietest Zaka. This sister who doesn't even hesitate to dominate her sister is not the Black Dragon Zaka she knows. It's true, she doesn't look like a Zaka. The Zakas she know are very straightforward and innocent girls, with a subtle sense of similarity to his childhood sweetheart in different ways. Black Dragon Zaka, why is it with such a frightening impression? Of the four Zaka sisters, she gave Yunshi the impression of being the most restless, like some unnameable thing that could never be seen in the dark waters. That sense of unknown mystery and danger gave him an unknowable sense. Her killing intent gave Yunshi the creepy feeling of someone finding out what he had done. Target, annihilation, the man who betrayed the Great Mother, the man who failed the Great Mother, his only destiny, is to go to hell. It was not the voice of Desert Dragon Zaka, but indeed the murmuring voice from the darkness, the final death declaration from Black Dragon Zaka. I didn't betray the Great Mother. Red Dragon Zaka was completely unable to understand why she had been judged to have betrayed the original giant dragon. She had been working to conquer the world, and now she was also ready to come and destroy the last blocking rock, the twin witches who had taken her heart. Her devotion to the Great Mother never changed. Holding Yunshi's hand tightly, it was the only way to give Red Dragon Zaka a touch of warmth now. Considered an enemy by her own sister Black Dragon Zaka, she was on the verge of not knowing what to do. She hadn't done anything to betray her mother. Betrayer. Black Dragon Zaka's voice became colder for some reason. Large drops of sweat fell from Yunshi's forehead. The reason for betraying the original giant dragon, should this be told to her? Roa. More darkness filled Desert Dragon Zaka's body, and her golden pupils all turned pitch black. Enemy. The enemy. It seems to be more than just orders from Black Dragon Zaka, mixed with something else. Watch out, it's coming. Yunshi took Red Dragon Zaka's hand and quickly backed away. Desert Dragon Zaka slapped her claws down, and the ground instantly turned into a giant black swirl of quicksand. The battle started once again. At this moment, Desert Dragon Zaka was no longer the third princess that Yunshi remembered, nor was she the big sister Desert Dragon Zaka that Red Dragon Zaka remembered. Dominated by the power of Black Dragon Zaka, she spared no effort in hunting down the pair of Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Boom, boom, boom. Hundreds of lines of venom across the sky, continuously blasting the lava shield protecting the two. Green toxic smoke filled the air, so that the flowers withered and died one by one. The sandworms, one after another, rose up from the sand, launched suicide attacks on Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, who kept jumping into the air. When she is angry, her temper is far more than her sister Desert Dragon Zaka. Moreover, at this moment, she is not alone in the battle. Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka raised their hands together and pointed their index fingers to the sky, unleashing a fire-based forbidden spell. It was a forbidden spell that was even more powerful than Ice Dragon Zaka's Meteoric fire rain. A huge fire cloud covered the sky, countless golden red bubbles emerged in the cloud, and then the doomsday fire rain descended. Pulp bubbles, even the smallest was more than a meter in diameter, fell on the desert, splashing away one after another. The giant venomous scorpions touched by these pulp bubbles will instantly turn into ashes, leaving only a faint scorch mark. Even if a sandworm with a body length of 100 meters is contaminated with these high-temperature slurry streams, its huge body will be burnt instantly like a caterpillar being roasted by fire. BZZZ. 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 Sandworms constantly rolled up madly, all were cooked, burnt, and finally turned into black charcoal. And this is only the prelude stage of this forbidden spell. These high-temperature bubbles are only used as a means of clearing the field, the real attack has not yet begun. Continuously tossed in the fire cloud, began to brew a number of huge things. Those are fire elements more than 1,000 meters in diameter, which can be regarded as formed by 1,000,000 high-temperature pulp bubbles. It's the meteorite in the meteorite fire rain, or can be called flaming meteor. The strongest human Grand Magus can only summon one shot, but in this fiery cloud, there are more than 7 flaming meteors with a diameter of more than 1,000 meters. The Star of the Sand, facing the meteor bombardment that was about to descend, Desert Dragon Zaka also brought out her trump card, the Star of the Sand. Unlike the Star of the Sand that Yunshi remembered, this god weapon, which could summon a solid star, was also tainted with black, giving off an ominous aura. The first flaming meteor with a diameter of over 1,000 meters fell from the sky, carrying crimson flames like a comet that swept through the sky. Boom! In the huge mushroom cloud, countless crimson flames shot up into the sky, forming a huge pillar of fire between heaven and earth. The Black Star of the Sand, with a trajectory that defied the rules of gravity, advanced toward the sky. Second shot. Without hesitation, Red Dragon Zaka drove the second flaming meteor and it smashed down hard. The second pillar of fire was born between heaven and earth, and the land completely turned into a dead land of desert and flame. Hundreds of giant poisonous scorpions and an unknown number of sandworms were all turned into dust in this battle. Their death breath was all swallowed by the black quicksand vortex on the ground, and a kind of palpitating breath was slowly coalescing out. The desert dragon Zaka, who had her feet in the desert, continued to absorb the death breath from the dead creatures and became stronger and stronger. Third shot. Between heaven and earth, another flaming meteor exploded. This time, it finally blew open a large gaping hole in the Black Star of the Sand. The longer the meteorite fire rain is prepared, the more fire elements between heaven and earth will be absorbed, and the stronger the flaming meteor's destructive power will be. The power of this forbidden spell is precisely reflected in the number of flaming meteors that are coalesced. Red Dragon Zaka's meteorite fire rain is a 7-star forbidden spell. The 7 flaming meteors have the power to turn all ground that can be seen into a scorching inferno, and the dust raised is enough to cover the sky. However, in the face of the forbidden spell, Desert Dragon Zaka's Star of the Sand did not retreat in the slightest but continued to rise towards the sky. The central area of the Black Star of the Sand, which had been blown up once more, began to be exposed to Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. The 5th shot. Red Dragon Zaka did not stop and blasted out the 5th flaming meteor that had already reached its critical point. The black substance, which was located in the core part of the Star of the Sand, was also completely exposed to Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.